to the Dangerville podcast.
Like we always do about this time.
It's Friday night, you are correct.
The greatest show of all time.
Oh, he broke it already. My new thing. Did you get it back on there? Yep. You good?
It wasn't installed correctly.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
I did a little engineering, shall we say, here on the microphones over the last week because we just added cameras. This is our second show ever with cameras, so
Okay.
we're gonna see your beautiful face here. And as you can see, I kind of went nuts here screwing the thing on, and it took. I was telling the guys it took 3 trips to Lowe's to do this. It was a 3-tripper
For 2 pieces of wood and 8 screws, baby.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting how where the hardware store is what tells you which one you're going to. Like you're here,
Yeah.
so you're going to North Kent Mall.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's right. That's where it was. Yep.
So
Lowe's
yeah,
there.
it's like
What do you got? What do you unwrapping?
the ones I'm used to.
He likes earbuds.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
in-ears or something.
Those skull candies.
The I like the little
Man.
Sony ones.
Yeah. You don't have to wear them at all. It doesn't matter.
Well, these are gonna bug me.
Yeah. You should just get in-ear monitors for everybody and just make everybody wear the same ones.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no, push them in, dude.
The
So they're all
dirty ones.
crusty. You know?
Fucking wax on them.
Welcome to the show, man. We got fucking Mr. Jessie Beveridge here.
Thanks for having me.
So, possibly the greatest name of all time. It's like, what do you sell beer for a living? Like,
So my dad in the 70s and 60s and 70s in Grand Rapids, his name's Hal Beverage, had a band that was a big deal called the Beverage Brothers Band.
nice.
So when I came up, it was like the heyday,
Yeah.
the kind of full immersion into that 70s rock and roll scene. We did a year in California. He was making a record out there. We lived
Nice.
out there for a year in
How
the
old
late
were you?
70s. I was born in 76, so it
Okay.
was like before kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was just like full on rock and roll. I had drums I could play, so I'd set up next to the drummer or the drummers at
Yeah.
rehearsal. First gig, first like paying gig. My Uncle Harry was the drummer at the time, passed out, and I was like playing Pac-Man in the bar.
As Uncle Harry would do. I mean,
Uncle Dizzle, as they call him. He passed out, and my dad was like, "Hey kid, you're up." So
Nice.
in like the 5th grade, and he was like, "That's your gig now. Sundays at Barney's Tavern in Sand Lake. That's
Yeah.
you. First paying gig."
hell yeah.
That's
On
how,
drums?
On drums,
Yeah.
yeah. I grew up a drummer.
Yeah. That's what Lou was saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lou who hooked us up here.
I know. Lou Musa, great.
Yeah. Great dude.
He is.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense, and this shit's just in your blood. This whole fucking thing's in your blood. Because
Yeah.
it makes sense with the sound of your band, too, if you came up in the 70s, late 70s or whatever, like that young playing. Because that must have been the kind of shit your dad would have been playing then, too, right? It was like...
It was guitar, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Everybody could play. Everybody could sing.
Right. Harmonies.
Yep.
Guitar harmonies. Dueling guitars. Shit.
And you were singing whether you wanted to or not. So, like, everybody in the band would have to... Hal would sing, right? Dad would sing.
Yeah.
But then he'd be like, "Your turn, kid."
Yeah.
And so you'd be playing and singing.
He's like, I gotta go burn one. It's your turn.
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yeah.
And it was, back then, too, it was like truckloads of reefer and mountains of other things.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
For sure. What kind of shit was it? Like, I mean, not the drugs, the music. Top 40, 70s kind of shit?
Drugs, too.
Was it Colombian? Colombian meow meow? Yeah. No,
white
like
jacket.
covers and shit.
Only the best.
Yeah.
For sure. It was I would have called like 70s era Beverage Brothers as like Southern rock, bluesy rock.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
Which is directly into what you do now.
Pretty much. Like it is a blues-based rock and roll
Yeah, the
band.
path is clear,
You
right?
got it.
Yeah. That's badass, man. Dude, I knew, like, the Rockit King for me was like, I was just too young when the Rockit King was really, like, I don't know what you say, blowing up. I was hearing about this band all the time, but we grew up in Muskegon, so I wasn't here in Grand Rapids, for one thing. But like I was always hearing about this band. Like, so I would go to shows with my older brother who was playing a lot of shows and stuff, and there was this like always this like band called the Rockit King that was just kind of like on the periphery everywhere for me. I mean, you know, so like I didn't really ever like get to catch you guys that I'm aware of. It's entirely possible I saw you guys
facts
play
are
at some
fuzzy
point.
back then.
100%. And again, I was like, I'm talking, I was 12, you know, or something at this point, you know, like tagging along with my little brother and shit. So like, so I didn't actually even know that Lou was in that band or really like anything about that or whatever. So he and I got to talking about it when he was over here, and I was like, man, what the fuck, those guys still like, you know, are they still doing it? What's going on? So then of course I started looking, and I was like, oh, I got to get these fucking guys over here, dude. So yeah, he luckily gave me your number, and I fucking just texted you like out of the blue, like, hey man, I'm some random dude, like you gotta come talk to me about your band.
I got this podcast that 30 people listen to kind of sometimes.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Happy to talk about rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. So I've been just fucking, and I don't know if you guys have too, but I've been just jamming all kinds of Rockit King for like 2 days now.
Nice.
Just fucking getting into it and really checking
Well,
it
then
out.
you know what it is. It's like guitar
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Lou described it as too. He was like, we just wanted to start a band where it's just like plug a Les Paul onto a Marshall and you just fucking rock, you know?
Yeah.
And it was something that at that time was not really around in a way, I feel like in music.
You're
you know?
totally right. And I'd kind of played in a few bands, you know, I played with Hal, played with Dad and the Beverage Brothers. And then maybe when I was 17 or 18, I started playing with Kenny Olson, Kid Rock, and Jimmy Gallagher, trombone player that went to Northview, and Steve Eltz and Clay Carlson. You ever been up to Leland, like Fishtown?
I think so, but I'm not.
So like Carlson's Fish. And we
That'd
would,
be more his speed.
you know.
Yeah.
So we would play all of that stuff up north. Stubbs in Northport,
Okay.
the Powerhouse in
Stubbs.
Lake Leelanau,
Okay,
Union
uh-huh.
Street in Traverse. So there's that whole
Yep.
kind of, I would call it almost the end of it. You know how like rock and
Yeah.
roll died for a minute.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And then I played drums and toured quite a bit with this band called Monkey Chuck. And that was kind of in that mid to late 90s Domestic Problems.
I was gonna say I know
Era.
that band too. Like I know that name because
Yeah.
like again I was tagging along with my brother to all these shows. Everything here in GR. I mean like Domestic Problems, whatever. Keeps of course seeing Verve Pipe a million times.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all these groups, you know, or whatever. So yeah.
That was kind of as rock and roll was I don't know, you know, there's like NSYNC and shit.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I mean. In the big picture, and we've talked about this here, is like all the rock bands all got dropped from every fucking label because they were all putting their money into NSYNC, literally into NSYNC and Britney Spears and all this
Like
other
MTV
shit.
just stopped playing
Yeah.
rock and roll one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys, baby.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Total Request Live had a lot to do with that. I've like kind of studied this a little bit too, that how TRL like killed rock and it killed the rock star because like the mystique of the rock star was kind of killed and it became more with like being like having to engage with your fans instead of being like, you know, the like Michael Jackson, like be, you know,
Like the
God
untouchable.
figure kind of
Yeah.
thing or whatever. It's sort of like there was this sort of switch and fucking TRL had this huge impact on that. It's an interesting time
Remember
in
when,
music, dude.
like, even the big dogs, like Mariah Carey, went on there and everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's a crazy person."
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. And well,
Yeah, like,
I mean,
the mystique totally
yes,
evaporated.
dude. I mean, so many of my, even some of my favorite artists. I'm like, hey, that guy's actually kind of a douchebag. Like, he's my favorite singer ever, but like, he's kind of an idiot.
Yeah. What was the guy? Remember the guy from Oasis?
Yeah, dude, those guys were something else
One
altogether.
of the Gallaghers.
Yeah.
Noah, Liam.
Liam and
Liam.
Noel.
Yeah, Liam
Lord.
Gallagher went on
Yeah.
there and with like a goofy sweater and was a total dick.
Yeah,
And then everybody was
that's-
like, "What?"
That was his whole shtick.
Well, that's what he's supposed to be. That's his whole
Right,
bit.
yeah, and he still is to this day in a
Yeah.
pretty hilarious way, actually. I got a lot more respect for those dudes now than I did then. I was never an Oasis guy, you know, but now I'm like, you know, they were actually pretty awesome.
I've always had this tendency to like kind of dive into catalogs, whether it be like ZZ Top, and
Yeah.
I go all the way back,
100%.
and eat it up for a long time.
Yeah, me too,
Black
for sure.
Crows,
Yeah.
you name it, right?
Yeah.
And there was a point, and I couldn't even tell you the era, but I got really into Oasis and like into like B-sides and weird stuff.
Right.
And they just had, I mean, they were huge in Europe,
Yeah.
right? But so are a lot of people. So are a lot of American bands,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Foo Fighters were big over there long before they were as big. They certainly weren't playing arenas here, and they were headlining festivals there.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe the British connoisseurs, you know.
Yeah. It's weird because there's there's a mystique there to like American acts, and you see this in like record cycles and tour cycles, and like you're saying, like younger bands that they're pushing, they'll put them on European tours and stuff to like kind of cut their teeth doing that or whatever. And even like when some huge band is like putting out a new record, they'll do like the tour in Europe before they do the States.
Oh, it was always the thing. Like
yeah.
when Metallica put out the Black Album, they did 3 months in Europe.
Yeah, they do, and they're almost like warm-up shows or something before they come back over to
do the big thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
I'd be remiss to not point out how much he looks like Hugh Jackman after just getting like marginally disappointing news about something. It's pretty spot on. Like,
Look at
Bush
these
League Wolverine.
space glasses he's got on over here.
I went to
man.
war with a table full of people a couple of months back about Oasis, and I'm literally banging the table and just going, Oasis rules, you're all up your own asses. Underrated.
My wife
Oasis
saw
for
them
the
here
win.
in Grand Rapids, and they did the whole thing where they came out, they played one song, the brothers got in a fight, and the singer left, and the guitarist had to do the rest of the show and sing all the
It was
songs.
probably great.
That wasn't a shtick. That was
well, that's the thing, dude. Is like, part of it kind of probably was shtick.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
probably a lot of it was just fucking
Yeah.
whiskey too.
Yeah, well, 100%. It was kind of both. Like, it was
Yeah.
kind of like getting them all this press, so they were maybe leaning into it a little bit. And also, they were just doing a ton of cocaine.
And they're brothers.
And they're brothers. And so, yeah. And I mean, it sounds like they pretty much fucking hate each other to this day. So, like,
Yeah,
you know.
if it's a shtick, they're really going for it.
They're really committed.
Really going method with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Staying in
Yeah.
character.
So, when did you then switch to singing?
So that was kind of accidental. The guitar player in Rockit King, Anthony Menino, we had a band right before the Rockit King called Hoi Polloi. That we
It's
had,
a great name.
we wrote all these songs and couldn't find a
Is
singer.
that a Caddyshack reference?
I think it was a Three Stooges episode or
Okay.
something. I don't know. It means
think they
like
say it in
means like
Caddyshack,
the common people or whatever, the dregs.
All right, gotcha.
So it was. We had all these songs and we were getting ready to go record, and I think I even had studio time at Station C, which is now gone, and no singer. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll just write the words, and sing it, and then we'll find a singer.
But
And
you
we
had
to-
like been singing because you'd been doing songs like in your dad's band or whatever, so you kind of had like, it wasn't just like I've never done this ever.
It
in
was
my life.
certainly like a perfunctory, like I'll just do the thing.
Yeah.
I can do it. You know what I mean? Like I was singing at rehearsal to get choruses and arrangements and stuff like that. So when I was a kid, you just did it. You got yelled at if you didn't. So I always had that, like, you just get the fucking job done kind of attitude.
Right.
And so we recorded a bunch of stuff and then ended up finding a drummer, not a singer. So it's totally accidental.
Yeah.
that-
Which is pretty fucking common, honestly. Like, it's kind of hard to find a singer. That's how so many singers started. I mean,
there just wasn't anybody.
Even to reference Dave Grohl, that's how I started. I couldn't find anybody to sing the thing, so I was just like, well, I guess I'm doing it. Classic Dave Mustaine story, of course, like all these guys that were just like, well, I guess it's just me.
God, man, I love Megadeth too. Like,
me too.
That's
She was
they're
fucked
just
up
putting
for a
them
long
out on
time.
stage and being like, do the bit.
Yeah. Do the Dave Mustaine thing, please. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Exactly.
throat cancer too. So I mean,
I
that
know.
fucking crazy ass voice that he has, the way he sings, like
I saw him live a couple years ago with Lamb of God at Soaring Eagle, and he was making the crowd sing a lot of the higher parts. Which is fine. I mean, his guitar playing was still pretty much there.
Yeah,
I mean, compared to Kiko though, you're like, oh fuck, what happened?
No, Kiko rules.
Oh God,
he's never been the greatest singer. Speaking of Kiko, you sent me a video, Kiko doing a react to one of your
wasn't
songs.
that nice of him?
How did this happen? I was like, what the fuck?
I think so. Our guitar player Anthony, maybe in his class or something.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
interesting.
they
master
talk
class
on the
thing,
click
whatever.
clack.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I think he was like, hey, will you check out a song? And he did. He was just a sweetheart.
He does these like react videos,
Yeah,
like fucking and like so like Kiko fucking it was a great video. Yeah, and he fucking he was super cool about
I
it. It was
know.
badass, yeah. He was an amazing player, but he's
Yeah.
not in Megadeth anymore.
No, recently just got kicked out.
They didn't get kicked out. He kind
No,
of
I
left.
think-
right, yeah.
It
I
sounded
should've
like
said
he
that.
had like his old lady was gonna split.
Yeah,
or
he's
something.
just kind of like,
You can
all
kinda
right,
tell.
yeah, that's what they said. He's like, I got family issues
Yeah.
or whatever.
Didn't they get Friedman back
But
then?
on the other hand,
No.
Megadeth.
No?
Just saying.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
always find a second.
Yeah.
player at the end of the day. There's but one Mustaine, gentlemen.
He's part of that. What's that pedal that he uses?
It's not a wah.
No. Like it's like amp
like a brand?
and cab and everything.
Black
Oh.
Star? No.
I don't know, dude.
It's the thing. Of course, I'm not a guitar player, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
care less. Neural DSP.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
yeah.
So
I have that.
he's part owner of that company.
Oh, that's
What?
badass.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That's,
So he might not need Megadeth.
He's fine.
'cause that thing
He's
blew
fine.
up.
Yeah.
That's
He's fine.
wild. I had
Yeah.
no idea that.
Yeah, me neither.
That would kind of make sense, though.
And he was pushing that hard. And then Dave was like, shit,
That's funny,
Kiko's amp
dude.
sounds better than mine.
Yeah,
And it's a pedal.
An
Yeah,
old
yeah.
school guy like Mustaine using and endorsing and owning amp sims. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is crazy.
Well, I mean,
It's crazy.
I guarantee they're not using them in the studio, but he's.
You don't think so?
Nah.
No?
They're still
No, because
crank- they're
Kiko said
cranking
what
the
he
old
was
Marshalls
using.
and
He
shit,
was
dude.
using a
I mean,
EVH and a
Yeah.
Friedman or something.
Yeah. They'll
Yeah.
still run all the real tube amps
That's
in the
fair.
studio and
Yeah.
shit, but on stage, I get it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the sounds now is marginally different for somebody who's like a super guitar nerd or
Yeah,
something.
90% of the
maybe, but,
people in that audience
nobody
don't know
cares,
anyway.
dude. They
Yeah,
don't care,
yeah.
You know,
And
like,
they got monitor guys.
yeah,
it
And they
sounds
got a
great.
whole show that's
whole
like
teams that
beat-
can dial in that shit.
and the Axe effects is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
like you know.
and as a purist, right? Like Rockit King still makes records on tape.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
a
ask you
digital
about that.
cat, right?
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. But I get it. And if you're, I'm trying to think of tempo mapping, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like Megadeth's whole show is tempo mapped.
Yeah.
To the lights and all
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
So
and the guitar sounds will switch automatically
Yeah.
Yeah.
via MIDI changes.
Goes
Not
the
dance
solo,
around a
kicks
pedal
it
board.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I'd give my left nut to be able to be on a tour like that.
Yeah,
and
it'd
have
be
somebody
nice.
running fucking monitors. And
I was
all
doing the
that.
thing where I had it all set up for one touch switching. So it was all a MIDI thing, but it controlled the amp and effects all at once.
Yeah.
So you just click one button and it changes everything, but it's all real. And I still had to do it myself.
Sure.
And if for some reason I feel like that's the line. When I got over that line of switching, all on a computer-based Pro Tools MIDI switching thing, switching
Yeah.
to sounds, for some arbitrary reason to me, that's like too far.
Meanwhile,
I don't know why.
meanwhile, like Pantera, like Dimebag never stepped on anything. He had a guy
Yeah.
back there dicking with shit.
Exactly. Yeah, they just had
Same
the tech
thing,
doing it.
right?
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? I'm like, at least I'm doing it myself. I got to hit that one thing, and if I
Right.
miss it, I fucked it up.
I'm
That's
cheating
on me.
otherwise. I'm cheating.
I'm cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just how it is now, dude. But I get, we've talked about this a little bit. I get a little pissy about bands that don't have any stage volume, like no amps at all. Like they're just using all this
I have
stuff.
yet to experience it, so
really?
it might be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not, because all you hear, especially like if you're close, and so like the PA, is over here and whatever, and whatever, you got
yeah,
subs
there's
down
no
below.
amp
whatever.
noise
so there's
coming.
no stage volume coming at you, and so all you hear is like drums. Like you can hear the acoustic drums, and like it just sounds weird. Like it sounds weirdly empty to me, but maybe it's just because that's what I'm used to hearing or something.
Yeah. Get your
But-
head blown off.
yeah, and so like I don't know, I'm like just at least like especially like these pro level bands, I'm like just have like one little rig. You don't got to have huge stacks, but like have like a stage rig. I don't know, but I'm a little more old school too with some of that.
Well,
shit.
I mean, if there's any testament to it, man, I just bought a dual rack over an Axe Effects.
Yeah.
So, like,
Is that 'cause you were
right there
playing
with
mine
you.
the other day?
Yeah, well, yeah. That and like, I grew up with one, like, so I needed it. Like, I needed a fucking dual rack.
Gotta
Like,
have it.
Yeah.
You need amps.
yeah, no,
I don't know.
truly, dude.
I still love my amps. I keep debating, dude, like maybe I should just fucking sell all my amps and sell all my microphones and get a fucking Axe Effects or a Neural or whatever. and, like,
Anthony and I were having this conversation.
There's a lot of back and forth.
He was saying,
there's a lot of there. Yeah.
Anthony was like, no, you get the two notes and you have your
Yep.
amp.
You
If
do
you got to
that.
do it for like a
Yep.
tour or something, you still have your amp
Yep,
and you have
yep.
2 notes and you
Yeah.
let the monitor guy do your ears.
Yeah, and especially and like I'm not even gigging. This is just studio stuff. So like it's like I can have all my amps, but at the same time, like I don't know. It's like part of it for me is that's the fun of it, having all this crazy old tube gear and having to mic it up and everything. I love that shit.
It's like a
I love
record
it.
collection.
But then it's also like
And it fucking sounds good.
it
Yeah,
sounds good,
yeah.
but it's also
Yeah.
sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Like, oh, there's just some great presets in here, and I just need to do this.
What
part
ain't a
real
pain
quick.
in the ass though? Name me something in life that ain't a pain in the
True,
ass. That's
true.
you know everything's a pain in the ass.
I'd probably be sitting
especially
there with the
older I
X
get.
effects going, this thing's just kind of sucks.
Probably
and-
throw it through the fucking window. You know.
Yeah, I eventually. And it's also like I just like having like I'm kind of like I just want an amp that's like here's the volume and here's the thing. I don't want to have to get I'm a computer guy, but
Yeah.
like I don't want to like do that with amps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want the thing, I want to plug it in. I want it to fucking fry an egg on it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like I don't know. So
I mean, yeah, but you're a pedals guy too, though.
no, I'm not at all.
No?
Not at all. I
No,
only just
okay.
started getting into pedals sort of semi
Yeah,
recently.
I only have the pedals that I like need. I don't
Yeah.
really fuck with like the whole giant, 3x4 pedal
Yeah.
board or whatever that I'm dancing around. But
No,
yeah,
dude, I didn't want to get into it. Well, for one thing, I had the rig that was the one-touch switching, which is all based on like multi-effects unit.
Yeah.
But also, like, I get really fucking collecty, and I've said this a million times
Yeah.
on here. But so, like, you see
Really?
all the,
You
see all the
hoarder?
books?
I'm looking around here.
Not a hoarder.
Yeah.
See all the
Really?
books?
You?
All the instruments and everything, So, like, I know that if I get into pedals, I'm done. It's over.
Yeah.
And if I start collecting vinyl, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just endless fucking, gotta have everything. So I kind of avoided that, but I do have probably, I don't know, a dozen.
Yeah, need a
good
pedal,
pedals,
buy a
so.
pedal. Don't fucking. I had a question for you.
Yeah.
You opened for Kansas in 2009 at the Fifth Third Ballpark.
Yeah.
I was a freshman. I was there. It was awesome.
We played that day. We played 3 gigs. I
Really?
think. And it was like, and I remember John Sinkovich from
Yeah, I know
from
John.
Local
Yeah.
Spins
Sure.
was at the paper at the time. Now they didn't
Yeah.
have newspapers.
That's
right?
when I knew him. Yeah.
So they did like a write up about it because we were
Yeah.
working so hard that day and getting paid like pennies and nickels. But we played there. I think we played Festival, and we played at Mulligan's.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So 3 sets.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day.
My favorite part, like the most memorable part about that show was actually during your guys' set, you did a cover of Jump by Van Halen. I think
Possible,
I
yeah.
think it was you. And I just remember the audience not actually knowing when to time the jump. So everybody was just jumping randomly, and then all of a sudden, you would go, jump, and I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, that's right.
There's over the years, we were so drunk at times. Yeah. We did this album called Saddle Up, and it was a studio that's defunct. And we found a 1-inch tape 16-track machine, like a Tascam, and it was one of the ones used on the original Star Wars.
Cool.
Wow.
Tape machines have like all this whole life. Like
Yeah,
the one
dude.
we use at River City now was Elvis's.
Yeah.
And that one was like they had linked all these 16 tracks up to do the original Star Wars. Al McAvoy had it. And it was like, it only went up to 15 ips, so it was real bassy, badass. So we did that whole record in like a week. And I'm an iron worker, day job, right? So we were working at the Basilica there over by Fifth Street Hall. And the fabricator dicked up everything. So I'm doing all these fixes, and the guy's saying like, how much is this going to cost? And what do you do? How are we going to make this right? And I was like, listen, we're going in to make a record. Make sure we don't run out of beer. All good. So in that week, like we all took a week off of work and drank 3 kegs of Labatt.
That tracks.
In a week, right? And all this Wild Irish Rose or whatever, like our publishing company at the time was called like Wild Eye Publishing. We were drinking so much Wild Irish Rose.
Random, yeah.
But man, when I remember coming in and being like, hey, we got to do that blues song, and Al saying, we recorded that last night. Yeah. And then playing back, and it was like, done. And not remembering any of it, right? Like not even remembering, like I didn't even have words.
Oh, that shit looks
What
like
the-
it's gonna fuck you up.
I know what
dude.
this
It's
shit is, but, like-
red.
oh, it gives you
It's
the
red,
Oh, dude.
What is it even?
It is.
It's like super cheap wine that they sell. Like you get either malt liquor or that.
Okay, okay.
No free plugs, B-Dub. We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying to make
Wow.
I don't even know if they're
Sponsored
still
by
in
Wild
business,
Irish
right?
Rose, baby.
Yeah, that looks like it would taste like Burnett's.
There was a lot of it. There was a lot of it back then. So when you're like, do you remember playing this song? People will say stuff. Remember playing this song at this gig, and it's like, fuck, I don't even remember that gig.
Right? Sure, yeah.
100%, yeah.
But we do. But I do remember doing like weird stuff like that. I remember singing 9 to 5
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
time, and people being like, totally off put. Like,
It's a
what
bad
the
jam,
hell?
dude.
It is,
Dude,
right?
I've never wanted to shit on a cover track, dude. Like if a live band wants to play a cover track of somebody else, I'm here for it. Like
It's gonna sound like you.
Yeah.
You know, because it's you doing it,
Yeah,
right? We don't even try to sound like whoever,
yeah,
right? You
yeah.
just play the song,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and they're crowd pleasers, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's it,
yeah.
yeah.
and it's moments like
Right.
you're like you just said the thing I remember.
Yeah.
So sometimes something off the wall is what people remember.
Yeah.
I remember we used to play at this place called the Wayland Hotel.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Been there a couple times.
Billy was the guy that owned it. And so when I was a kid, my dad and I would connect, like we would go to Pantera shows together. Probably saw like 15 Pantera shows.
Nice. I never got to catch Pantera.
They were
I'm
fucking
catching them on Wednesday.
I'm
No, you're
taking
not.
my kid,
No, you're not.
my
Nice.
youngest
I am.
one who's 7.
Nice, dude.
He just lost his first front tooth.
His brain's gonna melt.
I'm saying you're not because I'm kind of a hater on the new Pantera.
It's obligatory for me, okay? Like,
Well, I'll tell you, I saw Pantera a ton of times, like
Yeah.
picks and
Yeah.
Phil pulling you up on stage.
Right.
Like that was awesome.
Yeah,
All
for
that
sure.
shit was badass back then.
and like, who else are you gonna get?
I know.
Like, who else, dude?
It's fine. I'm
Like,
just saying,
like,
without
who
those
better
guys,
than to replace Dimebag than his best buddy, dude?
Nobody.
Literally, man.
There's
Like-
nobody
like,
else.
Yeah,
There's never been anybody else that was ever going to do it. That's
he's-
always been. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm still a little bit. I just feel like
I mean, yeah, Vinny's not there. I know.
feel like
but,
they're just like, okay, those guys are dead. We can go out and do it now and make this big fucking cash.
I mean, you're
grab.
probably
I don't
there's
know.
probably some truth to that, but like, it
don't
worked
know.
on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
I don't care if I get 10 minutes of feeling like I felt back then.
Yeah. It's all fair.
Good
it's just
enough.
me being a hater.
Where's my
I'm just saying-
$70
Yeah.
cheap seats or whatever?
Yeah.
just
right?
being a hipster.
Yeah, being a hater.
Give it to me.
It's all right, man. I get it. I do.
And I know that stuff inside out. I saw all those tours multiple times. Like I was living that shit. I was living Pantera
Right.
and like Angel Dust era Faith No More. I was living that shit.
Yeah, that's my
was-
favorite Faith No More record.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That was so key to rock and roll. Nobody gives that band enough credit of like when Epic came out in like
Dude, yeah.
89 or
We
whatever.
were just talking about it because on here does the video. The
Yeah.
fucking amazing video with the piano that explodes at the end. You know, it's so good. And the fish flopping. What the fuck were we talking about? I don't even remember, but it doesn't matter. But
that
We're talking
changed
about
everything.
Mr. Bungle.
yeah, you're talking about
Bungle was cool, too.
Still are, man. They're still killing it. They're playing like crazy right now. Scott Ian is in Mr. Bungle now.
Yeah, and so is a guy from Slayer, Lombardo.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
isn't
drummer.
Scott Ian in, dude?
Well, that's
I know. Did you read that headline
That's
today
fair.
where it was like
No.
him and Dave Grohl and Charlie
Yeah,
Benante
I
are
caught
putting out
it.
a 7-inch?
Yeah, it's
That's cool
for
as
Record
fuck.
Store Day. They did a one-off track for Record Store Day.
They're calling it like DGI.
yeah, whatever the fuck,
their
yeah.
That's
initials
cool.
Their
are.
initials, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure it rocks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's got it. How
Yeah.
could it not?
Yeah.
It's probably terrible. They're like, put it up.
Right.
No
I'm kidding.
way.
I love all those guys. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
man.
great they wouldn't be doing it. There was I can't think of the name of the band, but Scott Ian. There was a band, and they kind of reconvened as Motor Sister recently, and I can't think of the name of the band, but at the end, Henry Rollins took them on as his backup band.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And they rocked, right? And they had all these records that was kind of like underground shit.
Yeah.
So Scott Ian, bass player that with a mohawk I can't think of, that was in like, oh shit, I'll think of it.
Yeah.
And then that guitar player, Scott Ian's wife, who's Meatloaf's daughter. right? And then the drummer.
I knew that. I feel like I knew that.
John
Scottian would do
Tempesta.
anything for love,
John
baby.
Tempesta is one of my favorite. I'm not favorite, but he's amazing.
So he plays in this.
Yeah.
They made these 2 records called Motor Sister.
Okay.
Really
That
killer.
rules.
If you like rock and roll,
Yeah, yeah.
you gotta get those albums.
Yeah.
And the first record was just all of that band's hits redid in like a week.
Right,
With some
right.
cool producers, right?
Yeah, I was a huge zombie fan, White Zombie fan, whatever. And Tempesta was.
Tempesta was the goddamn.
Yeah, he's badass.
And now he's
He's in
playing
the Cult
The
and all
Cult.
kinds of stuff.
He's been playing in the Cult forever. Since then, basically, I think he's.
I think
yeah.
on and off, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Him
I
and
gotta
Matt
say, I
Sorum.
just caught Zombie over the summer. That new drummer, or probably old drummer at this point.
He's the dude from
Well,
Manson's
questionable.
band, Gingerfish or whatever.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's that.
Oh.
He's kind of a. He's
was
kind of
not-
not.
Wasn't
a hard
he in?
hitter.
Wasn't he in? What's that? Loving you is like loving your dad. What the fuck is the name of that
I don't know,
band?
but that's the greatest song I've ever heard. I don't know what that is.
Peter Steele,
Oh, Typo Negative.
Typo Negative. Isn't he from Typo Negative? That drummer.
Maybe. I don't think so.
And he was
gotta get
marginal
pulled up.
too.
He might be playing with, yeah, but I know he was from. He was like the original dude in Marilyn Manson. That's why his name's.
It would make
Gingerfish
sense that
or
he
whatever
came
it
from
is.
Typo then.
It totally.
It's
could
like
be,
the
yeah.
natural evolution
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things.
Checks out for sure.
Yeah, like honestly.
That does track, yeah.
I love Typo Negative.
Also, though, the original guitarists are both back in Zombie's band now because John Five left to play in Motley Crue. So it's Riggs and Blasco.
So those
Yeah.
guys, you know, when they came up, it wasn't Zombie. Zombie took them from Prong.
Oh, okay. They were in Prong.
So when
huh?
Prong was killing it
Yeah.
back then, of course they were touring with like Sepultura and Biohazard and Pantera and all
I
that
had
shit.
that Prong record. I had that CD.
Snap your finger, snap your neck.
Dude,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
killer.
I didn't know that was those dudes.
So they went in the middle of that tour, like that band broke up.
Yeah.
And Tommy hired those dudes to play in Prong, and they made that. The next Prong record was called. It looks kind of commie, red, black, and white on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think what it's
Yeah.
called. And those guys were the guys. I saw them at the old intersection.
Right.
It rocked, sold out.
Yeah.
And those guys were
That
like,
one right there?
Nope. Wow. It looks like a
There you go.
Like
Rude
a
Awakening.
comedy
Rude Awakening looks like.
Yeah.
right
top
there. Rude
right.
Awakening.
Pretty
Yeah.
commie-ish.
Rude Awakening.
Yeah. Looks kind of.
It does.
It does.
It does look
Red
like
Dawn
it came out of
vibes going
fucking
on
Mother
there, for
Russia.
Solzhenitsyn wrote that one.
This is Prong, Rude Awakening.
Touch my dick.
We like music, yes.
But they were fucking killer.
Yeah.
And then the next tour cycle, they were in White Zombie.
Right.
Like he took them both.
Yeah.
When Zombie comes
Zombie,
calling,
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
you
yeah,
answer
yeah.
the phone,
He's
man. You
also
gotta
like,
have it.
and I can pay you. And they're like, they're like, we're in.
You just have to dress like a robot.
Yeah. We're going to play stadiums. My first concert ever was White Zombie. It was, I was 11 years old.
Quite the first concert.
11 years old, White Zombie. My brother was going, and my older cousin was in from out of town. And they convinced my mom to let them take me to the, and it was fucking the Super Suckers. You know the Super
Oh, yeah.
Suckers? Super Suckers open, then the Ramones. Who I'm not
real
even.
Ramones?
No, the Ramones.
Ramones?
The Ramones. It was like one of the last full tours they ever did as all the real Ramones.
Like Blitzkrieg Bop Ramones?
I'm not even a big
Badass.
Ramones fan. And
Yeah,
like,
but how cool is that?
Yeah,
that's
that's
what I'm
pretty neat.
saying.
That's
and like
pretty neat.
people who are Ramones fans are like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I caught the Ramones when I was 11. Like, what do you want?" And then they opened for White Zombie at the
That
LC
is
Walker
wild.
Arena.
That is a wild lineup.
Because fucking
Was that LC Walker?
LC Walker, baby.
I saw so many shows there.
Zombie is a huge Ramones fan. You know, he's like the biggest Ramones
Yeah,
guy
I buy
ever.
that.
And
New York shit.
They've done he's done Ramones covers, I think.
Pretty good too.
Yeah.
He put out a whole like multi-band, like every band doing a Ramones song
Yeah,
tribute.
okay. That
And it was
makes-
really
yeah,
good.
that makes sense,
Chili
yeah.
Peppers and
Yeah.
Metallica.
Oh,
and
shit, I
everybody.
gotta check that out.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that was my first concert ever, and I mean, like, it was fucking, it's pretty scary. Not really. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I was like, yeah, people were like, yeah, I saw the New Kids on the Block my first concert ever.
Yeah.
Like, White Zombie at the Walker.
That
Arena,
is,
baby.
yeah, that is quite the
11
badge
years
for a
old.
first
I saw
concert.
him a couple
Yeah.
times in high school. I saw him at the Phoenix Amphitheater in Detroit, and it was Quicksand,
Okay.
White Zombie on their first like Les Exorcisto tour.
Yeah.
and
With the other drummer, not
Anthrax
Tempesta.
with the first drummer.
Yeah.
And
Ivan something.
Yep. And they were real good. And I remember had like a high school band at the time called Propaganda Death Ensemble.
That's badass.
And
That's a badass name.
Tough to fit on a T-shirt.
Right. Cool cover.
It's a mouthful, but it's badass.
In metal still has like a lot of metal still has that problem with all these fucking long.
Oh yeah,
you
dude.
know, Priscilla wears a suit coat or some shit. Name.
Tony Danza, Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Totally. What the fuck?
That's a banger of a name.
But our guitar player Sean was like, of course we were all like, oh my God, it's Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And he was like, Mr. Zombie, Mr. Zombie. They were
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, he was just like talking to kids, right? We were little kids. And he goes, what kind of cereal do you eat for breakfast? And Rob Zombie goes, I don't eat breakfast, kid. Next question.
That's when he stopped eating breakfast.
I would have pegged him for a Count Chocula kind of guy.
He's more of a Frankenberry fan.
The most metal of all the breakfast cereals.
It really is.
I've made the argument many times on this podcast. I'm going to make it once
Killing
again.
B-Dub over here. He's dying.
Rob Zombie, or White Zombie rather, Astro Creep 2000 is the heaviest album ever written.
It's
I
one
listened
of the
to it.
heaviest.
I did
Did
my
you do your
homework.
homework?
I did my homework. I listened to it.
It's
What
so
are your
good.
thoughts on Astro Creep 2000?
absolutely
Terry Date production. So
Yeah.
Pantera,
Yeah.
Prom,
Yep.
Okay.
all of that stuff.
Deftones.
I absolutely see why you say it's the heaviest record that you've ever heard.
I'm not. Well, I understand. Technically speaking,
I
there's
get-
like,
so like,
You're saying bleed
out of your ass while you chop your head off. We get it.
No,
Technically,
Hammer
that's hard.
smash face.
But just in terms of the sheer
there's
fuck.
something
I get it's
so
like,
heavy about
it.
it,
Is
man.
punchy as
Yeah.
fuck.
It rocks.
though.
Sounds
It
amazing.
drives.
It
Punchy.
rocks.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like-
not all tuned down.
No, it's
you
great.
know, like so. Jay, the guitarist, man, he fucking knows his shit.
And there was loops, but not overdone.
Yeah,
So
it
good,
just
dude.
rules.
The
at an
production
alarming
was
rate,
like
man.
it's still one of my
fucking
favorite
kicks
records
so
of all
much
time,
ass.
man. And like, yeah, Creature, the Wheel, that riff, and like Tempesta coming in and being able to lock to that click track, and so it sounds like sort of electronic, but it's not like you're saying. Like it's
still organic.
just in that
Yeah.
sweet spot of like when they're
Still
bringing
made
in
on
the
tape.
samples, made on tape.
You know, still had all that.
analog shit where you had to really loop those samples for real. And like, you know, like,
totally.
I mean, the difference between Astro Creep and La Sexy Sistro is huge. And I mean, that chalks up to Terry Date, one, but also Zombie, like coming in as an
Rob
artist.
Zombie's an interesting cat when you listen to him, and he made like a statement that's so true, and he basically said, I'll paraphrase, your first album is always your most expensive. So, and he made that point, like,
That's
it
interesting.
took the longest. It took us like 10 months.
Yeah.
It cost like $2 million to make that first record.
Right.
And then every record since has been
Yeah.
faster and cheaper.
Yeah, because you're better and better.
You're just
and
better at
yeah.
it. And you kind of know, like, well, that ain't going to work. Why waste
Yeah,
time on it?
Right. Yep.
Everything's tested.
And you're better
Yeah.
at pre-production. You know what you're gonna do.
You know where not to
the
waste
song.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
that totally rings true with me as like, now we make record, you just go in there and play the goddamn thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if it sucks, just play it again quick. It's
Yeah.
way faster than, fiddle
Than
fucking
editing
around,
it, yeah.
putting it into a computer and
trying to
trying
all
to cut
that.
it up.
Yeah,
Fuck all
yeah.
that.
Do you think you lose anything with that? Because obviously, like, if you know more what you're doing and start to cut those grooves and get right to the chase, yeah, you can make it faster, more effectively, whatever. Do you lose anything in the sense of like, hey, let's try this with the first album where it's more experimental?
It's like you
versus
don't know what
hey,
you're doing, so you can kind of like, because you don't know what you're doing, you can
You
kind of
don't
create.
know what you don't know.
Yeah,
You
there's
I mean,
no,
there's
like,
certainly examples of magic, right?
Yeah.
A mini
yeah.
of, a group gets together in a room and it's magic. But probably like anything else, it's just man hours.
Yeah.
Right? So the more man hours you do outside the studio, typically the less you're going to do in the studio. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're in
yeah.
there fucking around trying to
Yeah.
figure out, was that G, D?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck are we talking about that? We got to play.
yeah. Like, we probably should have worked that out before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, though. When you're young, especially, and you kind of don't know what the fuck you're doing, you don't have this thing where it's like, this is not the right way to do it. So you can just be like, what if I plug this into this, and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And yeah. And then you get into a thing where like, now you know what you're doing. So, I can't do that because that's not the right way to do that.
Yeah, you sort
could
of
maybe
find your one path
fall
and
into
then
that or
eliminate
something.
alternate paths. But-
And you're always trying to mix it up, right? And I remember, Neil, the singer from Clutch,
Okay.
Yeah.
he was giving some interview and he was talking about basically saying to the producer who was Machine, who did Lamb of God, a bunch of Lamb of God.
Yeah,
stuff,
he's
right?
done a ton of stuff.
He's done a couple of those Clutch records.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was saying to that guy, like, hey, you know, we can't do that because we've already done that. We got to do this. And then the guy was like, cool, but you're Clutch, so you're allowed to do Clutch.
Yeah, yo, that's true too. Yeah.
You know, like, what the fuck?
You're always in this cycle of you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like, everybody wants it to sound like something. When you get a few records in, it's like they want it to sound exactly like everything you've ever done, and then when you do that, they're like, it sounds exactly like everything they've ever done. Yeah. And if you do something totally different, then it's like, no, it doesn't sound like them, and I hate it too. It's like you kind of can't fucking win sometimes. It feels like
AC/DC.
Yeah.
All right.
Judas.
One equals two, baby. Like,
pouring out for their original drummer, right? We were just talking about the original drummer just died.
It sounds like what you're saying is like you don't
The
lose
original
anything.
AC/DC drummer.
Yeah, he's
Phil Rudd didn't die.
No, the guy before old.
In like 1968 or something?
No, just yes. Well, I don't know. I'm not a big AC/DC fan, so I don't know but whoever the like original dude was just died. So, but no, not Phil Rudd.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Can I get one of those beers, man?
Yeah, of
Beer
course.
me.
I got Yangling.
Beer me. Yeah, I'll take one of them. It's been a while. Sick. Thank you, sir. Ooh, look at this. They're coming with the koozie. We should get Dangerville koozies.
Why don't you have Dangerville koozies, dude?
Yeah.
You gotta
Not
get
that the
them.
business cards aren't a tremendous handout.
Right.
Probably a little more useful.
I run a
That's
can-only
nice. Been a
house.
while.
I don't have any bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you go recycling. You in the you have
just don't
Meyer.
Recycle bottles too.
I hear
I just don't
Meyer in
like
the
taking
leather
them
jacket,
back.
putting the thing back.
I take my kids and then they use the money to buy Hot Wheels and shit.
Okay,
Sick.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. I use the money to buy more booze.
More beer. Like I said, I've been down in Indiana, so I'm bringing back the Yangling.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been a minute since I had one of these. It's good. It's pretty fucking
It is
good.
good.
We were talking about tape just a little bit ago, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about because you're kind of a, sounds like Lou was talking about it, and it sounds like you're kind of a stickler for like wanting to record the tape. And I respect it, and I find it interesting, but like what's your thought process on that? You just want it to be raw or not have to fuck around? Or
My few experiences with computers haven't been pleasant, right? You end up focusing on weird shit and looking at music.
Yeah.
And nobody looks at music. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, people fucking listen to music.
Yeah,
So if it
yeah.
doesn't sound good,
Uh-huh.
it sucks. I don't know. If it isn't broke, you don't fix it or whatever.
right, yeah.
I grew up making records on tape. I've made some stuff on computers. I prefer the tape. It's fast. It sounds great. You can slam the shit out of it.
It does sound good. I've never made anything on tape. I've never got to ever in my life. Closest would be on ADAT.
It's way easier.
Is
to
it
me.
now?
Everybody always says it's like way harder because that you know you
It's got
gotta
to be a function of what you
There's
know.
less
too, right?
there's
Like your
less quote unquote
familiarity
moving
level.
parts, I would imagine, correct?
you got to run the whole tape
Like-
machine. You're running the transport.
yeah, that's
and you're
probably a bad way to
rewinding,
put
you're
it.
tracking,
That's
like-
probably a bad way to put it, but I guess my point is like you pretty much just mic up an amp and put that amp in the recording machine and then just go, right?
It's
like,
yeah.
Hey, level,
Yeah.
fader,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? And then meter. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Hey, can you hit that harder? Fuck, that sounds better.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that complicated.
Yeah.
And then you're also limited to 24 tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
it's at River City, track 13's dicked up. So you got 23 tracks.
Yeah.
Well, go figure. Like you can I
Track
made a
13's
record.
bad luck anyway, dude. You don't want to put
Maybe it's the
nothing up.
best one. I don't know. But I made records on 16 tracks.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
So you just figure it out. If you got a console, and you just do it.
Well, you guys have like a kind of a raw sound anyway. That's kind of like your thing, and I was kind of digging it. I was like, yeah, okay, this is just fucking back to basics. Like this is a fucking drum kit and one guitar. There's a couple guitar tracks going on and singing, and it's just like that's fucking it. It just sounds
It's
fucking
not. Yeah.
raw.
Sometimes space. I find sometimes space makes it sound bigger. You have
100%,
you know,
yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins did the opposite, right? They got 3 reels of tape rolling back
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and whatever, 70 tracks of guitar
Yeah.
excellence.
And it's
There's never a right answer per se. You know.
And it's okay. I'm not the biggest Smashing Pumpkins fan in the world either. Like I don't hate. I loved Melancholy, but like before that, I was like, I don't know. Doesn't do a lot for me. But I mean, like they say, like there's like all these guitars on like even like Nevermind, and I'm like, I don't really hear that. I'm not sure that that's true.
I have a hard time believing that.
I mean, there's not that many because that was on one reel of tape.
Yeah,
so that's 24 tracks.
Yeah, so there's like all these fucking like urban legends out there about some of this shit and stuff. I'm like, I don't fucking think that's reality. I mean, I don't think Butch Vig would really do that.
Yeah, I don't think Kurt Cobain would do that.
Exactly.
Like really, or would have done that.
Yeah.
You know, like
I've been on a huge Nirvana kick lately. Just because like I haven't played it in so long, and I mean, like Nirvana was my very first favorite band. You know. And like hadn't listened to it in forever, and we got on a whole Foo Fighters kick, which I was talking about last week, which then made me start going back and fucking playing some of this old Nirvana shit. And I'd played, but I hadn't listened to like Incesticide or like Bleach or like, you know, not shit that's not Nevermind or In Utero, in a while. And I was like, man, I used to know all this shit. Like
I knew all that. I used to know
into that, all of it on the guitar, like every single riff. Not like they're terribly difficult or anything, but like it was like 7th grade Ross in the fucking Nirvana t-shirt, you know, just every fucking song, you know,
and muffing his way through Teed Street.
There was a lot that I was like, man, a lot of this really holds up, and a lot of it, first of all, I was actually sort of surprised at how punk rock it is for some reason, which it is, and I know this, and it's like, but having not heard it for a long time, I was like, oh yeah, this is like really punk rock, you know, and so I was kind of like, that was a bit of a thing, and then I was also like, a little bit earlier shit, like some of the more B-side shit that's on Incesticide or whatever, that's actually before Nevermind, even though it came out, you know, but I was like, man, like Kurt Cobain really could sing, like, and he always could, like it, but it was like his voice is not as blown out or something and some of that stuff, and I was
probably
like,
just less drugs.
That's what I mean.
You beat me to it.
Yeah.
You beat me to it. Yeah.
You know what I mean. Like,
all the above. That's what I'm saying.
Like if you're, you know, sucking whippets back and then you got to sing a gig, you're hurting.
And I'm just like, wow, like this
What's
actually
a whippet?
sounds...
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. Hippie crack?
He's on that right now.
I don't know.
Oh man,
the whippets are under the table.
We used to have
really.
I had this house in Heritage Hill. We had this. You'd come in the basement, right? And anybody that knows me partied at this fucking house. And there was a wet bar down there. And we would hire like a Calvin kid to serve beer. So the booze and everything would be. Calvin kids, fucking, they partied hard. So we would hire like a kid to serve drinks. That wouldn't cost anything. But then we would sell the whippets. And you'd have to bring the cracker back, right? So
you guys were the Nitrous Mafia. You guys were the Grand Rapids Nitrous Mafia.
Dude. And we would go to that. Now it's like, what's the place on Britain? The Knickerbocker?
Yeah.
That was like...
The Radio Tavern and shit was there.
No, that was further down.
Oh, okay.
That guy, Frank. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
That's where I cut my teeth gigging originally in my early bands at the radio, and we used to smoke with this fucking sound guy in the basement of that place.
Oh yeah. I remember all that.
Yeah, and then it fucking burned down.
I remember tomahawking the dance floor. I was so pissed at him.
Yeah.
You just, it's like certain bars, you always end up, you play and you end up somehow owing them $35.
Yeah, dude, it's the Blues Brothers thing.
Do.
You guys drank $200 worth of beer, so you owe us $130.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how when I was a kid in the 5th grade, I was getting $100 a night for a fill-in drum gig.
Yeah.
I just played one at Eastern Hall the other day, and I get $100. Like, guess what? That don't pay for fucking chocolate milk,
Yeah.
Per se.
It's about the merch sales, dude. It's all about the merch sales.
Somebody, I talked about this earlier. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself to our 10 listeners. You know who the guitarist Bumblefoot is?
Yeah.
He was just going off about how he's like, musicians nowadays are just traveling t-shirt salesmen. And I was like,
I can see it.
That really kind of
really depressing.
That's where I get most of my clothes from. So that's where I get most of my shirts
Soak yourself
from.
in a little bit.
Yeah.
I was gonna change into my ZZ Top shirt, which I always wear and I forgot.
I love old ZZ Top so much.
ZZ Top's one of my favorite bands of all
Tres
time.
Hombres and Fandango.
So
I've
good.
listened to those
So
fucking
good.
albums so many times.
And I like being a little bit younger, and because my dad was playing it constantly, is Eliminator and the fucking
Killer.
I love that shit. There was, what is it? Eliminator, Afterburner, and Recycler are kind
Yep.
of like the trio of like synthy, bringing in all that shit, dude. I love it so
People
much,
shit
dude.
on that now, but they forget what a game changer thing that
So
was.
good.
And it was like
I don't know if they shit on it now. I feel like they used to shit on it, and now it's come back around again to like being.
you might be
cool again
right.
Or something,
Yeah, I just
like,
remember people shitting on it and being like, "Fucking Eliminator
it
was
rules
badass."
so hard, dude. It's so good.
Oh,
It's so good.
You can't
dude.
knock them. They had that whole shtick on MTV.
Dude, so good.
They were the biggest thing on MTV.
Yeah,
Old
yeah.
ZZ Top was
With
the biggest thing on
huge
MTV.
beards and like
It was like them and Huey Lewis.
That is wild to think about.
You seen the documentary where they're talking about it, and they're like, they had to, like, the guy who made those videos was like, I had to figure out a way to take this band that had zero sex appeal and put them on MTV, and that's
So
why
they just weren't in the videos except for
they
like
came up
at
with
the
this
end.
concept of like, it's about, well, they're like they're like this phantom band who's like helping this other kid get laid in this video or whatever, It's so funny, but
Oh
those
my God,
videos
it
were
is.
huge.
They were
And
huge.
they rule so hard, and they still fucking rule, dude. I still love the Top.
They were playing like my buddy Kenny, who was in the Rockit King for a million years, was like conceived at a ZZ Top show.
Yes,
Right?
it's in the blood.
One of many.
Yes.
evidence.
Right? Like how many people have that story?
That's a ritual.
by Billy Gibbons.
I bet he wishes.
Yeah, possibly Dusty Hill. It wasn't even Billy Gibbons. It was
Jesus.
Lusty Dusty Hill.
That
R.I.P.
Who's the gal? So we're an American band, and they sing about Sweet Sweet Connie.
We're
Like
an American
the-
bands. Is that Grand Funk
So
Railroad,
that
or-
Connie is the gal that is like the groupie that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And then there was some story like where the whole ZZ Top, the whole band
Yeah.
was doing Connie and like all of a sudden, like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Frank
In
Beard's all up
unison
in
with
it.
the.
Right, exactly.
Tagging in.
my goodness.
Lusty Dusty Hill. Yeah, man, the fucking rules. I got lucky. I saw ZZ Top live twice. I got to see him a couple times. So it was
I've
lucky.
seen him. Yeah, I've seen him a few times, and they're like total pros.
Oh yeah,
I bet.
And then at the end, they play a bunch of old shit. Jesus Just Left Chicago, stuff like that.
so good.
We've done that before. Rockit King has played that.
So, did you do the? You got to do both songs.
Did
You do-
both.
okay. You know what I'm
fucking
talking
killed
about.
it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Double drummers and the whole bit. It was
Nice,
good.
nice. So the second time I saw the Top, the first time I saw him was at Summer Celebration in Muskegon, and that ruled. But I was at this fucking home show. What do you not call it? Not a home show, a trade show in Las Vegas. The International Builders Show. It's one of the biggest trade shows in the world. It's in Vegas. It's massive. And
Las Vegas Convention Center.
Yeah.
and the whole thing is filled with every building product you can imagine. And I'm there for work and do the show or whatever. And my boss leaves. I'm left there basically on my own for like a day. And I'm doing the Vegas things. My first time there. I'm going up and down the strip, whatever. And
So fun.
these dudes start talking about how there's this concert after the thing just for the convention center exhibitors. You have to be an exhibitor to go. And then it turns out that it's ZZ Top. And I am moments away. Like they're on their way.
Yeah.
And I don't have a ticket or fucking anything. And I'm like, what? I'm like, stop everything. What? They're like, yeah, you got to be part of the convention center. Sorry, dude. And I'm like, no. I'm in the thing.
I'm
I
the
got
dude.
thing.
I'm a guy.
So
It's me.
I
It's
fucking
me.
full
It's me.
Rule of the past.
Yep. I take the tram back, run into the thing, and like it's like shutting down, and the front desk people, I'm like, what's the deal? I hear the Top's playing. I'm in the thing.
need a ticket.
They're like, yeah, there's still some tickets because like apparently
Nobody
like
believed they were playing.
well, no, like not everybody like loves the Top or whatever. I don't know, and like. And so, like, I get the ticket. I have to basically like rush over there, And I'm fucking like, I end up in there and I'm like, I'm front row. There's not, I mean, it's a full house, but it's not like packed. I mean, there's thousands of exhibitors at this thing. And I'm just like, I can't, this is the greatest fucking thing that's ever happened to me. And to back it up real quick is before that, there were these dudes standing out there that were ZZ Top impersonators.
Oh no!
But I didn't know they were impersonators, and there was a whole line. Okay, and I figured hear me out, because I'm thinking it's for the exhibitors. They might actually have that. It's not just a regular concert. There's a meet and greet thing
like a record signing. Or something.
Yeah, because it's for the thing. It's not just like so. And I'm waiting in line, and I can't see. You can't see them or anything, right? Like you see, there's maybe some dudes, right? They got beards and whatever.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah,
But
So
continue.
I'm like waiting in line, and I'm like, fucking Jesus. And fucking, I get up there, and I'm like, I like get in there, because you only get like moments to get your picture taken, you know, just like whatever. And I'm like, I fucking love you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Take my picture. Yeah, sweet. Thanks. And then like, I'm leaving, and I'm kind of like, I don't really know. And I sent the picture to my brother, and my brother, and I'm like, I just fucking met ZZ Top, whatever. And he's like, ZZ Top, he's like, Billy Gibbons is not a 4-foot Mexican dude, man. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, fuck. And it's like one of the most embarrassing things ever. But I was still so stoked.
I would blow it up and frame it.
I need to find it, because it was hilarious.
He texted me bragging. He's like, dude, I just gave Billy Gibbons a hand job.
Dude. Yeah.
I would make it in sweatshirts and give them for Christmas.
But the Top did play for real, and they fucking killed, and it was like one of the coolest things.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, just like this random bonus ZZ Top show out
Last
of nowhere.
minute seeing ZZ Top.
Yeah, they're killer.
Yeah, and I've been obsessed with them fucking ever since. Just
That kind of era too, like, and of course they were huge in the 80s, but in the MTV era. But before that, long before that, and you think about that era, so DeGuello, that album with Unbad 'Em Nationwide and all that shit on it, right? Cheap Sunglasses.
yeah.
So they had a contract with London and made all those early ZZ Top records. And then London Records put out like a greatest hits album, and they got signed to Warner Brothers and went to like Paris for a year or something. Like, and then Dusty Hill went and worked at an airport.
Yeah. They took that was after that fucking crazy tour they did with the fucking
Worldwide
Buffalo.
Texas.
Yeah. They like basically they didn't like break up, but they were like, all right, we're taking a break for like a while.
Yeah, like Billy Gibbons moved to Paris.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
The drummer Frank Beard did heroin.
He went to rehab.
That was his thing.
That was part of it.
I'm not making that up.
He was so fucked up on heroin. That was part of the break, is they were like, he needs to go to rehab.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Billy
Dusty
Gibbons,
Hill went and worked at an airport throwing
under
luggage on those trucks, and nobody
under some,
recognized him for a year.
Assumed name, too. It was just some random name.
Patted down by Dusty and TSA.
I'm John Smith with a beard. Yes.
Well, that's the other part of it, is that's when they started growing the beards. 'Cause they didn't always have the beards.
You're right. It was like kind of a hide.
They came back after this was like
Disguise.
2 years later. The management's like, all right, guys, let's get it back together. And they all show up, and Frank Beard, the drummer, shows up all fresh out of rehab, clean shaven.
Yes.
Right? The other guys show up fresh from fucking Paris and the airport.
Yeah.
Just like fully bearded, just like, oh fuck, you know, like
The 9 to 5 life.
That album is killer. So that's the first Warner Brothers album.
Okay.
DeGuello. And if you go back and listen to that, it's like all of those ZZ Top records. I equate, like pristine those Pantera records are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like perfect.
Yeah.
Sonics. Those ZZ Top records are the same, and all of those cats, like a lot of those guys, ended up recording Van Halen albums,
that would make sense.
Doobie Brothers albums, stuff like that.
Which are high production,
high fidelity,
yeah.
great sounding albums.
Yeah.
So all those ZZ Top records sound so good.
Yeah. But they were like kind of like, to your point earlier, is like they were kind of making shit up. I mean, everybody was, and to a point still do, but like the ZZ Top, they were talking about, they made this square wall of amps where the amps are all facing each other in a square, which is crazy. And so they could just like move the mic like up and down these different amps and shit. And I mean, like,
wild.
so I mean, there was still like no fucking rules, but
There really still isn't.
yeah, true that. Yeah.
Like now you can just buy a fucking Boss pedal.
Yeah. Dude, that was my first pedal, Boss heavy metal pedal, baby.
Now Boss pedal, it's like the new Boss pedals called Amp and Cab or something.
I just saw that, dude, and I was like, oh shit,
Fuck $100.
Yeah.
So think of what some kid's gonna do.
Amp sim in the palm of your hand, dude. Yeah.
For,
I was just
for
fucking around
$199.
with GarageBand, the free DAW for Mac that you can just download. And I'm like, man, could you, like, the technology that's just in GarageBand,
Honestly.
like, bands would have killed for 20 years ago, if you're
Sure
not
would have
going
saved
to
a lot
tape
of
it.
money.
It's just like,
yeah.
Could you imagine, like, some of these access, like, if they would have just had access to just this free, it's free.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
That's how my buddy started. That's how with GarageBand.
You can do almost anything in
He was like,
GarageBand.
I kind of like playing music, but I got this GarageBand thing, so we just started putting samples together in GarageBand.
Yeah.
It was like coming up with
It's
songs.
so easy. GarageBand's just like drag and drop.
Literally, yeah, that's what he was doing, yeah.
You can do all that shit in
I still
anything.
couldn't do it.
You could Mr. Tape.
You could have spent 5 minutes doing it.
I couldn't do it.
And then you just get your tape emulator plug in. Put it on the master track. Turn it to dirty as fuck. You're ready to rock.
Turn it to tape.
I love how you're taking off your leather jacket to reveal more leather.
vest. That's the most metal move there possibly is, dude. If you take off the t-shirt and there's another leather t-shirt under.
Just like Chewbacca sweater.
It is getting hot in here. Let's take a quick fucking break here, boys, because I gotta take a piss, being honest.
Yeah, me too.
So we've got this fucking, we got fucking cameras on us now, boys. We're
Hi,
fucking,
Mom.
we're finally here. We're finally here with the cameras.
We're in the big times now,
been a
kids.
long
See?
time coming. So since we did the show last week, there's just been an unbelievable amount of fan mail.
Oh my
coming
God,
into the
so
show.
much.
Unbelievable. It's coming in. We had to fucking have B-Dub fucking haul in the whole goddamn mail sack from the mailbox over there. Yeah. So, and here it is, the mail sack, ladies and just
Oh, look how full it is,
unbelievable
too.
amount of
yeah.
fan mail.
They're all
here.
laid flat.
What's
in
that
there.
weigh? 40, 50
fan
pounds?
mail.
It's deceptively full.
Unbelievable.
Detroit Lions colors.
Unbelievable. Santa Claus has got nothing on this.
Yeah.
It's fucking. So we're gonna reach into the mail sack here a little bit,
Mail sack.
and we're gonna hear what the fans have to say about the.
I set this
Add
down
it to
next
the
to your
video.
cat. Now there's hair all over this mail sack.
Oh, no.
It's a hairy mail sack.
It's a hairy mail sack.
You got a hairy
dude.
mail sack there? Weird. Okay. Well, just kind of just stroke it. It'll come off of there. So, well, okay, let's see. Let's dive into the mail sack here,
God
guys.
damn it.
All right.
Raj, how are you reading mail if you're not even pulling it from the mail sack? Is the question.
These are letters, handwritten letters we're reading here.
We'll touch this
right
up
now.
in post, bro. Don't worry about it.
We're going to
We'll
need a
get beat up
green
on the
screen.
case.
from them. All right, we're diving into the mail sack.
You make it
here,
look
boys.
like he's pulling it out of the mail sack.
Let's see what we got here. All right, this is from Nicole in New York.
Oh,
of course. Okay. Hey,
I love
Nicole.
her.
Yes.
Love Nicole.
She says, hey guys, love the show. So cool you have video now. I wanted to say I think Matt looks a lot like Ryan Gosling. Wow. Oh, sorry. I missed a line there. It says, Matt looks a lot like Ryan Gosling if he had Down syndrome. Oh, yeah.
No way, bro. Gosling's
That's
got
rough.
nothing on this mug right here.
That's rough.
Shout out, ladies. All right.
No, he's...
Let me go ahead and pull an actual letter out of the mail sack here. Take a little peek to see what they've got to say. All right. So this one appears to be Janine from Soda Springs. Shout out,
Okay.
Janine. Appreciate you writing in. So Janine from Soda Springs, Idaho writes, congratulations to the guys at Dangerville for adding video to their platform. The addition of this new form of media now gives fans an entirely different way to not listen to their festering shit sack of a podcast. You guys suck. A little harsh.
She's probably being sarcastic.
Maybe a little rough there.
She's probably,
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see what else
Hey,
we got
fuck you,
here.
Janine.
Come on, Janine.
Eat a bag of dicks.
All right, we're going to dive in here. This is a letter from Derek in St. Louis. Thanks for reaching out, Derek. He says, great episodes, guys, but the glare off Ross's bald head made so much lens flare, I thought it was directed by J.J. Abrams. It's a lot of lens flare. There's a lot of lens flare, boys. Sorry about that, Derek. We'll get better about that.
Yeah, maybe polish it a little bit less. Less turtle wax, maybe.
I feel like there's a Josh Lenz joke in there.
There is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I didn't want to be the one to bring it up because that's a little weird.
All right. And pull out another one here. This one's from Stephanie in Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, yeah.
Who
Love
writes,
Des Moines.
That's where Slipknot and Devil Wears Prada is from.
Indeed. Double whammy. Two greats right there.
Indeed.
She writes in, Ed, thought you looked great on camera. You're making too much out of your small stature. If you want to see something truly diminutive, try looking at the aggregate views of the first 71 episodes of the Dangerville podcast. Fair enough.
Shout out to our buddy Ed.
I mean,
there.
disconcerting for sure.
You guys have such loving fans.
All right, let's see what I got in
harsh.
the mail sack here a little bit there. Oh, this one that I'm clearly pulling out of a real mailbag. Clearly.
Yeah.
This is weird. This is from the Wilfred Brimley estate here.
Diabetes.
Interesting, yeah. Interesting. The Wilfred Brimley estate.
The very same.
Let's see what they have to say here. Oh, this is actually a cease and desist letter citing copyright infringement from Matt's mustache. From the Wilfred Brimley
That joke's
estate.
falling flat, baby. I'm all trimmed up. I'm looking
Come
tight
on,
these days.
the Beatus.
That worked a lot better
That one
before I
probably
shaved,
aged
yeah.
just as well as Wilfred Brimley himself.
You're gonna have to lawyer up for the Wilfred Brimley estate
Did you
coming after you.
see? Did you
dude.
see
Come on.
the stats on when he did the Cocoon movie?
Yeah, it's like
He was like 43.
Yeah, like he's 32.
Yeah, like, oh fuck, I'm like 5 years older than Wilfred Brimley. How old am I?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Drink him in a little bit. Wilfred Brimley's the man.
It's like all the 80s movies about high school where they just make these 43-year-olds look like they're in high school.
Yeah.
Did you see the Super Bowl where the
I
guy
didn't
that-
watch the Super Bowl.
So
this year,
there's
I
the
missed it.
singer gal.
There he is.
What the fuck's her name? Taylor Swift. And then there's a football player.
That bitch.
That one chick.
There's a football player that's banging Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And then he's yelling at Wilfred Brimley. So the coach looks exactly like Wilfred Brimley. And then he's just yelling at her. So then you can just write anything on there. And then today they're like, the memes, they're showing Wilfred Brimley making out with Taylor Swift and him yelling.
Yeah, that's
It's just, oh, look at
him.
Oh my God.
Look at him. It's unbelievable.
That is.
Fucking awesome.
There's also this fan that goes to the Kansas City Chiefs games who dresses up exactly like the coach, Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And it is fucking spot on.
That is
man. It's
funny.
just
There
glorious.
you
dude.
soak
It's
him in a
so
little
good.
bit. God damn.
So can you find the Travis Tritt yelling
Travis
at Wilfred
Kelce.
Brimley? If you can find that, it's just brilliant. And that poor guy, for the rest of his life, is just going to be memes.
Yeah.
Wilfred
Oh, yeah.
Brimley don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, that was,
Right.
that was a real heat of the moment.
He's
situation
100,
there,
right?
for
What
sure.
does he care?
We got
Also,
more,
Andy Reid's like 70 something and had a knee surgery a couple of years ago, and some 260-pound dudes banging into him. So maybe take it easy there, Travis.
Yeah.
We do
Walk
have
it
more.
off.
All right, we got more on the mail sack here.
So we've
boys.
got one from Mike from Batman Turkey. Actually, way out in Turkey. We're huge in Turkey.
What?
Batman Turkey. It's
Okay.
a real place.
All right.
Indeed.
They,
Yeah.
they love us in Turkey.
So listen to your last podcast. Your producer has clearly hitched his wagon to a tremendous couple of horses with great potential upside. A wise investment of his time for sure. If you're looking to make a similarly brilliant investment with your money, B-Dub, I've got a great opportunity for you with a promising stock called Blockbuster. Hit me up on Venmo.
All right. It's a sound investment, I'm sure.
Lucrative, yes.
All right, I got one more here. I got a couple more here, actually. This one is from Kristen in Cincinnati, has written in here. Hey, Kristen. She says, seeing Ross on camera, I now know what Casper the Friendly Ghost would look like if he had died at 40. Ouch. Jeez. All right. Harsh feedback from Kristen there.
Yeah, geez, Kristen.
All right.
Keyboard warriors.
There is a plus here. Most of these have been from women, so like
That could be
Ladies
worse.
love some Dangerville, what do you say? Yeah.
Any port in a storm.
So I've got one more over here. Last one on my side, at least, is from Yanni from Wanawan, British Columbia, boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So it says, damn, video looks great. You guys must have spent a fortune to get it up and running. But if you really wanted to improve the show, a wiser investment would have been a gun and 3 bullets. Saves yourself and all of us the time and boredom and just end it all now.
Okay.
Gee, ooh. Did it just get warm in here?
Tough one from Yanni.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple more here.
Skating.
The sheriff's coming, Yanni.
Yeah.
You don't get to make threats like that in America.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna reach deep into the mail sack here and see what we come up with here. All right, this one here is from Vanessa in Italy. Wow, we're pretty international, man.
Yeah.
We're doing all right. She says, "Hey guys, long time listener. Cool. I used to lay in bed at night listening to your sultry voices as I touched myself. Wow. Damn.
Pretty forward here.
Yeah.
She listened to any of my episodes,
Wow,
dude?
Vanessa. What else does she have to say? Let's keep
She's
reading here.
Italian, dude.
She says, but now that I've seen your faces, I've discovered my true self and have become a full-blown lesbian. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Vanessa. I guess we do what we
That'll
can.
happen.
Vanessa, you like women, I like women.
Yeah.
We have so much in common.
Man, okay.
As,
all right.
as Lemmy would say, you can't win them all, and even if you could, where would you put them?
And I got one more here. I do got one more right in here from this is from Jeremy in Los Angeles. Okay. He says, "Hey guys, it's so cool to finally see that vintage book collection you're always talking about in the Pod Lounge."
Oh, yeah.
Nice. All right, I'm a fellow book collector. That's cool. He says, "Looks like you've got some great stuff in there. You should try reading some so you actually have something fucking interesting to talk about."
Yep.
Okay. All right, Jeremy. Whew. Tough crowd here.
Yeah.
Tough crowd here.
Skating letters out of the mail sack.
You know,
too.
he has read some. He has read some.
I think maybe we
Most
ought to,
of the ones with pictures in them, but
put the mail sack away for the night. I'm feeling a little discouraged here.
Yeah,
I don't know if, geez, I thought we were onto something here.
Yeah.
And that completes that terrible segment.
That was a banger.
I like that.
What would it feel like now to live in California now? Like, okay, you got a guy from L.A. talking shit. You couldn't pay me. Last time I was in L.A., I
in
thought
LA?
to myself, like,
Yeah.
if I never go back to California again, I'll be fine.
I got friends that still live in LA. I was there in 2020, so right before the fucking pandy hit.
Yeah.
And I was actually there for the NAMM show, and I kind of I love LA. It's been a few years, but I also have been to San Francisco. We talked about this recently too. I'm repeating myself, but I hated San Francisco. Hated it. And so I don't know. So I got kind of mixed feelings about it. I don't know what's going on there now, So, but I still got a lot of friends that are living in LA. So
I know plenty of people, but it's like, no thanks.
yeah. Not
Can't
for
own
you.
30 round mags in LA, so I'm already out.
Can't what?
Can't own 30 round mags in LA, so I'm already out.
Oh, fuck. You probably can't do a lot of things.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
probably
yeah.
can't have, like a diesel truck or anything.
Right.
Yeah. True
It
that,
seems
true that.
pretty goddamn lawless out there, man. And like these days, you never know what's real and what's like bullshit,
Yeah.
meme, fake
Yeah.
footage. But
I
dude,
would
just
still
like
like
the
to go-
smash and grab type stuff going on out
LA,
there.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I loved it, but again, I didn't live there, and I was just
Yeah.
there with friends, so I mean, I was like having a blast, you know what I mean? But like living there is probably something altogether different.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was there with my brother the last time, and he was like, "I hate this. It's just a huge concrete," and I'm like, "Yeah, I love it."
Right, right.
Like,
Last time I was there, all I could think was, that's a lot of taillights.
oh, dude, it's just endless traffic, and like I'm sure, like, and again, like living there, you got to live out in fucking Van Nuys or something, you're
Yeah.
not like, you don't like live like in like,
In downtown.
downtown
No,
LA
you
or
don't. You
something.
live in
You're like-
Hollywood.
You're living in Sacramento or
Yeah.
whatever. I guess that's north, but like, you know what I'm saying.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
In the valley.
Living in a
Yeah,
suburb.
living in the goddamn
Yeah.
valley, ready to fucking shoot yourself because it's 5,000
If
degrees.
you're in a regular town, you're like, all right, that was fun. Let's go to the next bar. And then if you're in L.A. and you do that, you get in the car and then you're sober.
Right.
By the time you get to the next bar,
Yeah.
it's 2 hours or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like,
5
Yeah.
blocks.
I should have never left the fucking bar.
Right. Right.
Even if it started to suck, it's better to sit in the car looking at the
Yeah.
dashboard.
I was at this fucking spot when we were there, and they charged me for ice in my drink.
Huh?
And
That's a good move.
I was like, what? And I mean, I definitely called them out on that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not paying for ice in my drink.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's because you ordered it on the rocks, and this is like a special rocks ice or something. And I'm like, go
spare
directly
me.
fuck yourself. I was
Spare
like,
me.
I
Meanwhile,
was
you
like,
go to Nashville and they're just throwing beers at you.
yeah,
Put
yeah.
the water in a Brita filter and then give it to me, and then freeze it
I
and
was
then
like,
give it to me.
I literally said to the dude, I go, so if I order a water, I'm just going to order a water that's free. and then order a neat whiskey, and I'll just fucking take the ice out of that and put it in. He's like, yeah, I guess you could do that. And I'm like, fuck all the way off right now. Like, what is this? And then I was like, is this an LA thing? So I start asking my friends, and they're like, I've never heard of this. They're like, no. They probably just think you're some rube
You
from
got
out of town.
finesse there.
Which I clearly am, but like, so I
They
don't know.
massage
I was
you a
like,
little bit
fuck
on
that
that
shit.
You went full Karen on him, dude.
It was some
You
bullshit.
kind of had to, though. I
Yeah.
probably would have,
Yeah.
like, hey. Like,
Yeah.
I would have passive aggressively said some shit and then submitted real quick. Like, hey, what is this? Oh, we do that. Oh, okay.
But I do highly recommend the. You're probably not into gear enough to go to like the NAMM show. Like
That'd be fun. Can they do it in Nashville? Can I go to the Nashville one?
they should do one in Nashville because they do
I think
two
they
a year,
do, right?
Not to my knowledge. Maybe I don't know. I know they do 2 a year, and it would really make a lot of sense if they did like the winter one or whatever, the summer one or whatever in Nashville.
Yeah.
I think they do because I've
They
seen
could, yeah.
I've watched like
That would make sense.
recording shows
Yeah.
that are there, right?
Right. Nashville's fucking fun.
I'll go
too.
there all
Yeah.
the time. We used to
Yeah.
party there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's a good town. Like you
Yeah.
just walk into a bar and
It's super small.
It's
like,
happening.
Yeah. It's like it's basically kind of like, I'm sure there's other spots, but there's kind of like the one strip, and there's like, what is it, Printer's Alley
so
or whatever.
my dad was in there playing Printer's Alley with Ronnie Frey. So this would have been, I guess it would have been the late 60s.
Yeah.
And he said, my dad who partied, let's say, right?
Nice. Is your dad still around?
No, he passed away
Okay,
at 18.
sorry. All right.
Yeah. We have a scholarship.
At 18?
In 2018.
I got you. Man, he really got to work.
72, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a scholarship. We raise money. We have events every year. And it's called the Hal Beverage Memorial Scholarship. And we give the money away to GRCC music students.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sick.
it's good.
Yeah.
But he said, of all the people we ever met, that Waylon Jennings was the most fucked up guy.
Yeah.
And they would have to put 2 pots of coffee in him to get him to be able to sit on a bar stool and set in and Printer's Alley.
Yeah.
So like tons of cool Waylon Jennings stories.
Yeah, that's cool
wild.
that he knew him.
That's
I
cool.
just watched that. Have any of you guys caught that fucking? It's a documentary about the making of We Are The World. That's on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix.
Okay, maybe it's on YouTube. I don't know. It don't matter. But there's a cool documentary. That whole song and shit, and like I love that shit. So Waylon Jennings was there at fucking We Are The World, and sorry, Stevie Wonder's trying to do a verse in Swahili or whatever, right? He's trying to get everybody to do the thing in Swahili, which they don't even speak in Ethiopia, which is for. And Waylon Jennings
Whoops.
tells the fucking producer guy, he tells him, he goes, hey, ain't no good old boy ever sang nothing in Swahili, and he leaves. He just leaves the session. He's out.
Oh, my God.
You got no time for that
It's
shit.
just- And it's like all on camera.
I ain't learning no Swahili
He's like, all right, that's enough for me. I came in and did the thing.
Yeah.
I ain't no good old boy, never did nothing in Swahili. I'll see you
my
guys next time.
I like how they're saying the wrong language. They're gonna learn a verse in the
I
wrong
know.
language that
And,
doesn't
like,
apply.
People are like, and they're trying to like, it's Stevie Wonder, and
It's like
he's
the
like,
most painfully American thing.
yeah, it totally is.
he's like one of the main dudes, it's Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, and so like nobody can really it's Stevie, and people are kind of like, maybe this isn't the best idea. See, people aren't like getting
Yeah, like
it.
Stevie paid for the studio time or whatever.
And they're kind of like, and he's like, that's there to doing the thing, and like everybody's like, what? And like, have you seen the classic meme of fucking Bob Dylan at
Yes.
fucking
Lost in
it's
Space?
so funny, dude. And Bob Dylan especially, he's high as fuck, has no idea what's going on. It's this, but anyway, you should watch.
Oh, Kenny Rogers.
Rogers,
dude.
baby.
And it's all that shit aside. I mean, that's all part of why it's so good. This documentary is amazing. It's
Kenny
amazing.
Rogers, fucking 70s Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, dude.
Charlie Daniels was
Charlie
so
Daniels
good.
rules, dude.
My kids
Yeah.
sing that all the time.
Yeah.
Call up Trudy on the telephone.
I don't know.
Send a letter in the mail.
Okay.
Like they sing 70s. My kids got good taste in music.
Right.
We'll take the
I bet,
phone
yeah.
and just pass it around the truck
Oh.
clockwise. So like every song's like somebody else's pick.
Oh, sick.
Oh, there's
Yeah, that's
MJ.
fun.
There's MJ,
Oh,
dude.
look at him.
Michael
Yeah.
just stood there. He's there by himself before anybody else gets there. and does all his parts
Naturally.
And
Diana Ross.
dude, it's everybody. But the guys who kill it more than anybody are fucking Daryl Hall, and
Who still kicks
who
ass.
still rules, and fucking Steve Perry. They're because they pair them up. They're all paired up on microphones, and they
There's
pair up.
Willie.
Willie Nelson's there. Fucking everybody's there, dude. There's literally like 45.
Please tell me Huey
A-list.
Lewis is there.
Huey Lewis is there. He gets bumped up because Prince doesn't show, so they bump Huey Lewis up to a solo spot. He gets to take
Because
Prince's
of Prince
spot.
and show?
Yep.
Probably because Michael was there and they didn't
Yes,
like each other.
they had a
Is that
whole
true?
because it was the whole thing was about the American Music Awards was happening, and that's why everybody was in town. And so yeah, there was this whole rivalry. Bruce, yeah, fucking just everybody's there, dude. It's a great documentary.
Kenny Loggins. Highway to the Danger
kills
Zone.
it. And I said this after a couple weeks ago, but like fucking Quincy Jones is the producer. That's a guy I couldn't think of earlier.
Of course, he was. Yeah, right.
and he's the best that's ever been. And fucking at the end of the doc, he's like it's the engineers driving him home to his house, and he goes, Quincy just leans over to me and he's exhausted, and he goes, "Man, them white boys really brought it." That's like the funniest thing. There he is.
So Huey Lewis, do you remember what was the song where they were buried up to their necks in sand?
I remember that, but I don't know which song.
It
that
was
is.
on Sports, which was the record.
Yeah.
So like that era, my dad was on the run from the feds. And this would have been like 84.
Your dad is
That is
possibly the coolest guy that's ever
already a
lived, dude.
legend.
I know.
He's something else, man. When he died, we had a what do you call it? A celebration of life at Eastern Hall, and they stopped counting at 700 people.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, it was fucking.
Yeah.
It was great. We still, like I say, we still do stuff every year, raise money. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But we went. So I can't believe my mom let us go. But my sister Feather and I, there's 6 of us kids, we went down to Daytona.
Yeah.
And he was playing at the Iron Horse under an assumed name. So they would call him, he was like going under Jesse James. So they would be like, Jesse. And I'd be like, why are they calling you Jesse? He's like, shut up, kid. So he had a buddy back then, like they would just unplug the cable if you didn't pay the bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'd undo it on the pole.
Yeah.
So my first experience with cable TV was in Ormond Beach. Where he was staying.
Yeah.
And they put the cable in, and we were watching like MTV.
Yeah.
And that was what was happening.
Yeah. Also,
Jump.
sorry, but Dan Aykroyd also there, dude. Hilariously for unknown reasons.
Wait, what?
Dan
What do you mean
Aykroyd.
unknown reasons? Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers and Ghostbusters was the biggest thing in the world, and they were just trying to get the biggest stars in the world. But not really a singer, and they were trying to get all these Tina Turner.
Oh, Tina.
Dude, everybody there. There's Quincy, Ray,
That was a good movie. Remember
the Ray
Jamie
movie?
Foxx did
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie? That was really good.
Let me get another one of those beer skis,
yeah,
bro.
of course.
I'm supposed to be giving you drinks. Some motherfucker shows up with a cooler,
Yeah, right. Right.
balling out
Yeah,
of control.
old pro,
Yeah.
Been here once or twice.
Yeah, you definitely watch this out. It's fascinating, dude. Just like seeing all these people and like,
They're the MCI machine. So that right there,
tape machine. Yeah,
that's an MCI tape machine. Whatever the fucking number is.
Yeah.
That's what they got at River City. That was
Nice.
Elvis's.
nice.
That was a big deal. Like that was that was a Sony, right?
Yeah.
Like Sony bought that company
Yeah.
out. They still work. There's a company in Nashville. There's a studio called 1979.
Yeah,
This is
I
1979.
know all about it. It's so amazing. And he's got that whole tape machine.
So
company.
he refurbishes that tape machine.
Yeah.
And it's called Mara Machines.
Yes.
His last name is Mara.
Yep. He does. I don't think it's just that tape machine. He does a bunch.
He
but
does a 2-track.
Yeah.
That brand,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Like that's his deal.
But he's very like his whole shtick is like, we redo these tape machines and then you're a customer of ours, but we only work on our own tape machines, meaning like the ones that they've redone. So it's
there's
like
a million of them. So they'd be like fixing. They would never have. They'd be all like repairs.
So it's like if you get a Mara machine, now you're one of our clients, and so we'll
take your call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So do they
Interesting guy.
serialize
Interesting guy.
them with their own serial number?
Yeah,
then?
probably.
Yeah, they kind of like LED them up and
Yeah,
put like
they
little
put their own
signs on
logo
them.
on them.
Yeah, okay.
They relap the heads and all
Dude,
that shit.
that studio is one of the coolest. I watch endless studio tours on shit,
It's
dude.
pretty badass.
And that studio is so cool. And that guy, I just got like, I'm just like, this guy's fucking a bad motherfucker. Like, he also is one of the premier vinyl cutters. That's like what his actual real money making business.
Oh, he's cutting lacquers,
dude. Yeah. They say they do like 200,000 cuts a month. He's like, from the biggest bands in the world to guys that are cutting, they want a dozen records, but they just do the lacquer or whatever. Then they send that, or whatever it is, the plate, and then they send that to be pressed, or they don't do the actual pressing.
Yeah, they send it to the plant.
Correct. Yeah,
but he's cutting lacquers.
He does. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, and they're like one of the top 3 places in the world or something doing that shit. It's wild.
What a niche thing,
dude. I know.
Yeah,
and the money is so he basically built himself a playground recording studio in this huge warehouse in Nashville, and then he's got a slide in it. You slide down from the top floor to the bottom floor.
What?
It's so awesome.
What?
And they're like, yeah, we stick a mic in the slide, and we'll put an amp at the top of the slide, and then a mic at the bottom of the slide.
Oh my god!
And he's like a really normal guy. Like, I'm like,
he's glasses. Yeah, just normal looking,
just super
dude.
normal. And it's him and his wife. His wife, I think, does the mastering or something there. Which is
I think you're right. There's something to that. I don't remember exactly what his old lady does, but
I'm just like, man, this is sick. This guy's fucking everything I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
It's a hell of a business he's got going on there. Just with the tape machine thing's incredible.
Yeah.
And they're shipping those things all over the world.
And I love how he just kind of it seems like he kind of hit it big with this record thing, and then was kind of like, but I'm also a crazy person and want to have a playground studio, and I also want to restore tape machines because I love tape machines.
That is such a niche interest too. Like that's just a bit like how do you figure out that you like that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you
just studio, man, just being a studio guy.
I think if you were an engineer coming up, you were forced to fix stuff.
That's fair. Yeah.
So before Pro Tools. Yeah. So there's that whole generation of people, of which I'm a part, that Pro Tools was like this weird new thing, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
didn't trust it.
Right. So you're just like, I'll just fix the tape machine. I'll get the new whatever part and solder it in, and we'll go. And
fixing your board.
Yep.
Board's overheating constantly, so they just have to know what every component is and just fix the channel. That channel's out. Those old boards, you could literally feel the heat coming up off of them.
So there's an AMET console. I thought about this the other day. There's an AMET console, which was Rupert Neve designed console. All of the dynamics.
Yeah.
There was an old timey computer. And you could do the dynamics in the old timey computer. And, and do your moves, your automation moves and stuff.
Yep.
And it's Rupert Neve's voice that does that talks to you.
That's so cool because he's got that kind of
British,
yeah. Was he German?
No, he's British.
Is he British? Okay, yeah.
But I realized that everything that the Rockit King's ever done, somehow, Station C, that was the console.
Yeah.
Right? And then Al McAvoy bought the console. We did a live record. It got mixed on that board.
Right, yeah.
And then that console went to Dynamite Studios, and we made a record there.
Yeah.
And now that console's at River City.
Nice.
So it's everything we've ever done in one way or another went through that old console.
That's sick.
It's a good sounding.
Yeah.
Neve sounding EQs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's good.
Neve shit, yeah. Yeah, I was talking to Lou about that a little bit. He went through some of the records you guys were making and whatever, and because he was doing all that shit too, obviously, and it's a little bit before my time, so I came up right when Pro Tools was getting accessible to people.
Yeah.
So I started on a real early version of Pro Tools, and had it was a Digi-02 they called it, a little
I remember
2-track
those.
thing, and I had to switch my first Mac from what is now OS X, which has been the thing forever, back to OS 9, which people don't even know existed, and he had to switch it back to run Pro Tools, and I was just in my basement making shitty records.
How were the converters?
I'm sure they were terrible. I have no idea anymore. You know what I mean? I had no reference for anything. It was here's a thing and it makes noise. And my brother helped me hook it up. And I just made albums on it, but I'm sure it's not great compared to stuff now or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, because it could have been back then. Components might have been better than cheap shit.
There's
now.
What's the guy's name? Chris Lord Alge.
Yeah.
So that guy, he mixed a lot of albums, right? It still does, mixes a ton of albums. But he mixed that Verve Pipe album, Villains.
Yep.
and the way that he did it, so that album got made on tape.
Yeah.
And then that kind of next generation of thing was those digital tape machines. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of iterations of that, like digital, like Striper and Megadeth and bands like that were using these Mitsubishi machines or whatever.
Yeah.
But Sony made one, and they were okay, and then that's where Apogee came from. Mm-hmm. So Apogee made all of these converters for this machine as like a plug-in.
Okay.
But I don't mean a plug-in like on a computer, like a physical thing that you plugged in with chips.
Yep.
And it made it sound like something cool, but still it was mojo cool.
Yeah.
So this until like 5 years ago, Chris Lord-Alge bought all of that digital tape in America.
Yeah.
And was still dumping in their 44 channels. So he would dump your reels of tape, and if it was 80 channels, he'd make his assistant put it into 44 channels, dump it onto that weird tape, and play it back to those tape machines because it sounded cool. Yeah. It wasn't analog. Yeah. It was digital. Yeah. But it had a
crazy.
thing.
Yeah.
So you don't know. And it was fucking old. Like, that was like 81 or something.
Yeah.
Like, they made
original.
Living in America, James Brown on it.
Right.
You know, those kind of records.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still super common practice to just track everything digitally in Pro Tools and then dump it all back out on tape just to get the tape sound and then pull it all back into Pro Tools after you do all that, you know?
There's no wrong way, I guess.
There's no wrong way. So I use Apogee. That's what my converters are, is Apogee stuff. Apogee is also Bob Clearmountain, I think, was a big part of that company.
He married that gal.
That's what it is. Okay, it's his wife.
His wife
Is the president of Apogee or whatever, and he's got one of his main mix rooms is at the Apogee studios there or whatever.
And one's probably in their fucking bedroom or whatever. Like Bob Clearmountain's got all the.
Yeah, well, he came up working at the power station in New York or whatever. I think was.
Yeah,
his
he was
thing,
doing
right?
all Springsteen and all that shit.
All that really Bon Jovi and, or whatever. I know they tracked there. Well. We're getting real nerdy on studio shit.
Sorry.
Lost me. No, you're good. I'm trying.
John his real name is John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, his
and
uncle or
Bon
something.
Jovi was the main designer of the power station. He was like the acoustic designer and then like also one of the main engineers or so. He was like one of the three guys that like ran the power station or whatever. And that's how Bon Jovi was able to like go in and cut fucking Runaway. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like that whole thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
doing those demos
it was
in there
his brother or his uncle or something.
It's his uncle.
Yep. And Bob Clearmountain was the guy that...
He was like the mixer. He was like the main like producer mixer.
He was the guy that started mixing records like as like a thing.
Yep.
Like one guy mixes albums.
Because that was kind of the place, where they kind of switched from like this thing of like one guy does it all to being like one guy tracks it and then they were like, it's more of a production line. Then they'd move it to the mixer because they were just like moving everybody through, like just kind of like knocking it all out.
Like two shifts.
Yes, they'd literally move it from like, there to Studio B, and then with mix here, so they're tracking bands here, and then when that was tracked, they'd move it to mix, and a lot of that was Bob Clearmountain.
Amazing that it was that the music that there was money in the music industry. Yeah. So you look at that now. So like Rockit King came out and got together in 2001, first record in 2003. So it was like the worst time to come out as a band. Okay, because there was everything, Napster and all this shit, and NSYNC and blah blah blah, right? So there was literally no money, and when you really look at, so like today you look at country music, which still sells physical product, still has songwriters, still has like all of those kind of like Carole King kind of aspects to the business, right? Where they had a writer's workshop and they're pumping out Christmas songs, what the fuck ever.
It's a big machine.
Right. Yeah. That's the way music used to be. Rock and roll used to be, right? And pop music used to be.
Motown.
That's the way it was. And now it's only country music that still exists like that, and that there's still budget.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in those days, you had actual budget where you could take somebody that was good, and instead of them working a day job, you just pay them, And then it seems like a simple thing.
Yeah.
And then, okay, just concentrate on writing tunes and making records and then go out and tour and you get to keep that money. But then you owe us a record at the end of the year. You know, that was the cycle.
Yep.
It was a cycle for fucking 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it worked great until Napster.
Yeah.
And then
basically until the internet.
Until streaming
took
happened.
over.
Yeah.
When it became possible to just share files, music as a commodity just died.
But then there's now it's a rare bird, or it's like old musicians that were already big, or country musicians.
It's legacy acts.
That's it.
Yes, I know. And all the legacy acts are going to start literally dying off. And
How
it's
could they
kinda gonna
not?
be
It's like the Stones. Fuck, Metallica's 60.
Yeah.
I just saw
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel, one of my favorites of all time. He just today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Peter Gabriel. I just saw that on
Happy
Facebook.
birthday.
74. You know.
Judas. Phil Collins looks like a fucking hobbit.
I mean, he's done. I mean, he's like
Greatest rock and roll pop drummer. Oh my
one
God.
of the greatest singers of all time.
Did
He's
you see
the
that
best.
statistic where it was like in 1985, every fourth song on the radio had Phil Collins on it?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, dude.
It was
That's
crazy.
fucking-
I mean,
he's so
not
good.
that he didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Like,
But if he wasn't playing drums on "I Shot the Sheriff" with
Yeah.
Eric Clapton, he was singing in
on
Genesis or
something.
playing everything
Yeah.
on his own
he played
stuff.
drums on a lot of other records.
Yep.
So, yeah. One of my favorite, fucking my buddy, our buddy, Andy Inglot, he just said this thing to me one time about Phil Collins rocking grocery stores across America now, and I just thought it was the funniest comment.
Totally true.
It's just like so true.
Yeah.
You just go into any grocery store and it's just easy lover. You know, it's like that's
I
funny.
remember, like, because LAV, which has always been sweet, you know, that whole KLQ LAV has always been so sweet to us.
Cool.
But I turned it on one day and they were playing Van Halen. But like newer Sammy Van Halen,
Okay,
right? And I was
yeah.
like, oh fuck. Like Sammy Van Halen is
Yeah.
oldies.
Yeah, yeah.
classic rock.
It's
yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
Stone
yeah.
Temple Pilots on the oldies station now. And I'm like,
Dude,
holy shit, dude.
fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers is on LAV.
I mean, Chili Peppers been around since like 1980.
Right, right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, my shit, because I grew up on, grunge alternative was my first thing. And
Yeah.
like, so yeah, hearing Soundgarden and Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana and shit on like
Yeah.
the oldies station, and you're like, holy shit. But then you're like, like in the 90s, they were playing the 70s music as oldies or something.
Right.
Or like,
So like we're throwing around the term oldies here.
it's weird, right?
Well, that's what you would
I
have called
prefer-
classic stations. When I was a
Yeah,
kid, you'd have called
yeah.
them oldie stations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always grew. To me, oldies was like 50s and older. You know,
Right,
anything
yeah.
from like the 60s and say to the 80s was always classic rock. You know,
Right.
like
That's fair.
That's just how it sounds
Same.
like,
Yeah, that's what it
feels,
was.
It
Yeah.
feels harsh even to me to call that stuff oldies.
Yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
because of the definition
I know.
that I grew up with.
Well,
Like,
you think
weird,
about
yeah.
though, like when we were kids, Elvis. We were as far away from Elvis as kids
Yeah.
today are from Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and
God.
it seemed like so much
Oh, God.
like a bigger spread,
Right?
You know, like
But it
it's
wasn't.
weird. I know it's weird.
Yeah.
There's
like
this-
the 90s was still
yeah.
20 years ago. You know what I mean? To me, like, yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, no.
There's
like,
this whole thing about that I was reading about, like the perception of the decades and why we don't perceive, like how basically things haven't really changed a lot since like 2000 as far as the way we used to think about, the 60s and the 70s and the 80s are like
Yeah.
very different decades. You
Yeah.
know? I
Well,
read this whole-
when you're a kid, you're in an impressionable state.
There's that, but there's more to it. And a lot of it is just because of like the internet and technology and the way we just see everything all
Yeah.
the time. But I read this whole thing about it that I thought was kind of fascinating that I definitely can't regurgitate. It's a
cool story, bro.
Drunken state.
Yeah. Sweet, dude.
Happy I shared that with you. Maybe
yeah.
maybe B-Dub can pull up that whole article and read it to us.
Way
So
to contribute to this conversation.
I do what I can as a host.
I read this thing about this thing that we're talking about, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And stop. Full stop.
It is weird though. It's a fascinating phenomenon. There's some
Yeah.
fucking word for it and everything.
Yeah,
well,
it
Which
is.
I also don't know.
Speaking of words you don't know, like you know, how, like German just makes up, like puts all these stupid fucking parts of words together.
It's just like a endless like slob of syllables.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a word, I can't remember. I couldn't remember on the phone the other day when somebody was asking me about it, but it's like if you're from Australia, you're likely, if someone's like, "Hey, I'll do it," they're like, "Sit down, sit down." They want to like commie level you.
Really?
Yeah. So like the culture in Australia is, don't you stand up and be good. Like you just get back down with the rest of us.
Weird.
And there's a fucking word for that.
Yeah.
And I can't think of what it is, but it made sense to me. Like when, you know, they were going through all that COVID shit and everybody in America's like, you know, fuck you, I'll do what I want. And everybody in Australia's like, I'll do whatever you say.
Interesting.
And that's there's like a term.
Yes. Like they got a term for whatever, Schadenfreude or whatever. It's like something like that. But not
correct.
That, yeah. Gotcha.
What's the
Yeah.
what's the Galumlik? What's the word?
You're looking at me just because I have a German last name.
Yes.
You know German, right?
Oh, damn it. There's a word for like just being happy and friendly and drinking beer. Gemütlich.
Nice.
So that just means like, hey, we're at the beer hall. It's great to see you. Well, you want me to get you a beer? Like whatever that is.
That's what we should have named this fucking podcast.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask my girlfriend's best friend is dual citizenship. She was born in Germany. Her mom's full-fledged German. I'm gonna have to ask her. She like teaches German and everything. She's got a house in Germany. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to ask her about what is it called? Say it one more time.
Gemütlich. And then she's gonna be like, "Oh, I know. I miss home.
It
whatever."
literally sounds like good mood.
Yeah.
It could be exactly what
But
it
you're
is.
also
Right?
lit, so you're drunk.
Good
you know?
mood and lit.
Yeah. Like
I like it.
German makes more sense than you think because the sentence structure is the same.
Yeah, well,
It's English,
English
you know?
is derived from German.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of French words in English, but the like
the whole
Latin
thing is,
sentences are backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yep.
English is a Germanic language, though. It's absorbed all
Yeah.
this shit
Interesting.
or whatever, but it is.
So like the sentences in the same order.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
that make sense?
Like
That's why,
structured the same.
Yeah.
English. I mean, even English is English. Like English or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's why it's like German's the easiest language.
You know, there's
they
some
say.
professor listening right now, like,
I know.
you fucking asshole.
You idiots.
Hacking,
In case you didn't know,
job.
I have a PhD in
In linguistics.
in good moodlich. Kind of a.
I think there's one thing we can be certain of. It's probably that there are very few professors listening.
Dude, shut up.
Meanwhile, there's like
We have
40
intelligent conversation.
professors and they're all beating off to the podcast or
Dude,
something.
we talked
mean, now
about
that we got the
2002
video
Space
up on
Odyssey once.
Oh, shit. Who's that guy that looks like Alan Trebek? And he's on every show. He's a scientist, and he's always talking like he knows something. He was a wrestler.
Whoa, wrestler.
Yep, he's a college wrestler.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes, that guy.
Oh.
Fuck that guy. What a dick.
I like Neil deGrasse
He's like a
Tyson.
TV
There
scientist.
seems to be
I'm
a pretty big visual difference between Neil deGrasse and Trebek.
Yeah, Alex.
To me, it's the same guy. It's just a guy with a mustache on TV.
That might be the most woke statement I've ever heard. Kudos to you, sir. You're a commendable
guy.
human.
I'm a bit of a hater now too. I feel like he's
a TV personality.
So up his ass now.
He
dude.
is.
He's just like, God, dude. Like he loves to hear himself talk like so much that it's like he won't like listen. Like when he's on even like Rogan or something, he doesn't like listen to what's being said to him. He's just like already just waiting
Spewing
to
off.
talk
Yeah.
again or something. Like there's no
Interesting.
like conversation there with him. Like he's
Because
really
he's a
kinda
game
off his
show
own
host.
ass. You may be right. I wouldn't be surprised if Neil deGrasse Tyson is the new host of Jeopardy.
Or family.
Nobody would even notice. See, what's the dude's name? Steve Harvey. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
He is
pretty
He's
funny.
fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
man.
My
Didn't
grandma
I-
loves him.
Yeah.
What was the guy that? He was the actor on TV that ran Family Feud for a minute.
Richard Karn?
God damn it.
No, the comedian
Yeah, right?
Drew Carey.
No, he's
Carey.
he's Price is Right.
Price is Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Drew Carey was Price is Right.
Price is Right.
Drew
He's
Carey's
still
Price is Right,
doing
and now
Price is
he's
Right, I think, right?
now he's yeah, still Price is Right.
Getting
actually.
a nod of
Yeah.
approval from B-Dub over here, man.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Steve Harvey?
No, Drew Carey.
Drew Carey's Price is Right for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So
he's
after
still doing
Bob
it, maybe.
died,
yeah.
Drew
yeah.
took over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I must
Those
have
rough
been
times,
working.
Yeah.
I missed that. I don't watch a lot of TV anyway.
You're not sitting there watching daytime TV all the time. I take you for a daytime TV kind of guy.
You're totally giving daytime TV vibes.
Holy cow.
Got a real vanilla personality, dude.
Drinking beers, watching Prices Right.
That was like what you watched when you were sick or something as a kid.
Yeah,
for sure.
You stay home and you watch like Press Your Luck. No whammy, no whammy.
I was
no
always
whammy.
I was always Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
So we didn't have the cable except for that one summer in Daytona.
yeah.
I just got the internet like 2 months ago.
Shut up. Seriously?
I built a house in Lowell, right, and in 16, and we just lived like right between Ada and Lowell. Even though the fiber optic goes through the land, you can't get it because we're right in the middle.
Yeah.
So we've
'cause it
lived like
crosses
the
by-
last since 16 without internet.
Right.
And the kids, we have like a hot box or something, and the kids would burn that up in a day.
A hotspot. Yeah.
So
wireless
you'd have
hotspot.
TV on the 20th.
Yeah.
And that was it of every month.
Damn.
And then a couple months ago, I put in the Starlink.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, you did?
know,
Yeah.
silent.
How do you like that?
It's great.
Really?
Except it causes all these problems. Like now my wife's like, hey, you can't watch this. Hey, kid, you can't watch that. Like, what's all this stuff on the TV?
Oh, that's wild.
So there's all of a sudden the whole world is at my kids. Who have
Yeah.
evidently been living like Amish or something.
Right. So wait, did you have internet prior to 2016?
Yeah,
Or, like-
'cause we lived in
Okay.
town.
I thought you were telling me that like your first experience with the internet was like 2 months ago. I was like, are you fucking serious?
No,
Like,
no, I
There's
had-
no internet here, man.
At one
Gotta go to
point,
California way to get some internet, eh?
Yeah.
I lived in the Ontario
Man.
division for years.
You
We had-
really don't have Netflix.
I don't.
Have you
I
guys
didn't even
seen this
have
Ask
TVs.
Jeeves thing everybody's talking about? It's game changer down there.
My wife called me
shit.
and was like, "Hey, can you go to Meijer?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." She's like, "You just got to pull around the back of Meijer and tell me what spot you park in." So I was like, "Okay." So I go to Meijer and I'm spot 4. What do you want me to get? No, they're going to bring it out to the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, "What do you mean they're going to bring out the truck?" So this old gal, brings it out, and then instantly I feel terrible that this old gal is fucking shopping for me.
She's a greeter, dude.
Oh my god!
Here's your bag.
So I jump out of the truck. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry!" And I'm helping her, with the groceries and stuff. And my wife did this. I didn't know. She's like,
Yeah, right.
She's like, if you didn't call, I wouldn't have a job. Stop feeling bad.
Yeah. She's like, by the way, the Rockit King sucks.
Yeah.
Like, totally burned by
Have
this old lady.
you seen the satellites for Starlink go by? Have you seen that?
I've been
Like in the
keeping looking
sky?
Yeah, up in, when we go to Lake Leland in the summer.
It's
yeah.
wild. The first
Like
time,
a bunch of rows.
What
of them.
is it? Because I can't get a
So,
visual.
it's-
I think they're like toaster size.
it's something I don't know.
But are they close together
So-
in the sky, or are they far apart?
No,
Like, I can't get
it's
a clear answer.
dude. It's like between 10 and 20 of them, and like an elliptical line that goes across the
Yeah.
fucking And the
But
first
is it
time
like you're looking here and there's one here, or are they like close?
It's no, they're
straight
closer.
row.
It's like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's
yeah.
dude. The first time they went by, I didn't know. Like I knew Starlink was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was like that. So the first time one went, like a group of satellites went by over my house, my stomach dropped, dude. I was like, "We're fucked."
Yep.
Aliens.
I'm about to be vaporized.
Is Will Smith available?
Yeah.
I mean, you like you just smoked some reefer. You're like,
No, literally, that was
Oh,
yeah, no,
God,
100%.
no.
That was
High as
it.
fuck.
I swear to God,
I can't
dude.
find my shoes.
I was out by the bonfire and I immediate dread, dude. And so I called my buddy who's like an amateur astronomer, and I'm like, Trace, and he's like, dude, it's fucking Starlink. Like,
You can
don't worry.
relax.
Yeah,
It's Netflix in the sky.
yeah.
You're totally fine.
He's like, it's just
Sky
that
Netflix,
asshole
dude.
Elon Musk, dude. Don't worry about it. Like, oh, okay, cool.
But when they launch more of those satellites, they launch like 20 of those
Yeah,
at a time.
yeah.
And they come out like they just pop out like Pez
Yeah.
out of the thing. Am I right?
Yeah, no, 100%. They just appear on the horizon, and
Damn.
no, it's cool to watch. I mean, it's really neat because I mean, like I've seen the ISS go by, but like no, and it's fast too. Like they're here and gone in like 10 seconds. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's eerie. It's eerie to watch because like I said, it's just a row of between 10 and 20 satellites. Just
I heard
all
they're gonna
across.
crash this bitch coming up.
I mean,
the ISS or whatever has only got a couple years left.
left. Yeah, they're gonna fucking just bring it
Right
down
into
back
the
down to
right
Earth.
into the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
Right into
that be-
Milwaukee.
Right into LA.
Or Ohio, dude.
Detroit.
Go to Ohio.
It's been fun, Detroit, but
Oh,
we
my
gotta
God.
make some
And
changes.
it like lands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Fire.
The ZZ Top exhibit.
No!
What the fuck?
The fuzzy guitars, they're getting burned up. No.
Billy Gibbons still playing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. No, I was scared, man. I literally, like, it was instant dread. I was it's like,
I love it.
no, yeah. But it's
I'm
good
waiting
internet
for
and
him to
everything,
turn
like,
it
you
into till he gets the phone. Like on Facebook, you can call somebody out of the country and it's free.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for the Twitter to have the phone, and
I'm
then
sure. Yeah.
I'm switching to Twitter.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah. Honestly, I would. Like, yeah, I don't have Twitter right now, or X, if you will. Like, but
Right.
Yeah. It's X now,
Well, how do you get the news? I don't watch the news, so that the only way I get news is
Yeah.
the Twitter.
which is probably the worst
know.
way to get the news. Like,
Right.
not
I don't
that I'm
know,
blaming
is
you.
it?
Like,
I watched. I went to Florida to my mom's, and they had the nightly news on, and it was like 5 minutes into the nightly news. I was like, the kids can't be watching this.
Yeah, I don't catch
Shut her
any of that
down,
shit.
man.
No,
like it was
fuck all that.
terrible. It was just
Yeah.
like race and this and that.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I was
fuck
like,
all that,
God, I
dude.
don't want my kids to see this.
It's a lot,
They go to
man.
Catholic school. They don't need this shit.
Yeah. What
I don't
school
watch
do they go
any of
to?
that
St.
shit.
Roberts.
Oh, okay. Shit. Okay. I was Holy Spirit and then West Catholic for a
Nice,
while.
nice.
Yeah.
That's the touchy one, isn't it? Isn't that the one you went to?
West Catholic.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I've heard things, man. I've heard things.
I'm sure. I'm
What?
sure. No, we were pretty clean. I was friends with the priest, so it was.
Was it Father McTouchy?
I was never an altar boy, so I don't know. I was never an altar.
The data on that is so bad. It's like you're 141 times more likely to get sexually abused by a public school official than by a Catholic priest.
Or by coming on this podcast.
Yeah.
Fuck. The night's not over.
Right.
Let's see who ends up on top. Oh God.
Oh,
No,
man.
but it is. It's good. Like, just let them go to school and talk about Legos and shit. That's all. That's my whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to talk about weird shit.
Yeah.
Judas Priest. I got enough problems.
Right.
We can talk about Judas Priest, though.
Yeah.
We can talk
Good.
about Rob Halford.
Yeah.
You know.
Seen
Remember
him.
when
Seen him.
when Fight came out? How badass Fight was?
Not really.
Okay, Judas Priest had kind of run its course for the
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
or like Maiden and Priest and all
Yeah.
that stuff had
Yep.
run its course.
Yep.
And then the only thing left standing was Pantera.
Right.
Right.
Which is a little newer, though.
Well, because it was just so badass, right?
Yeah.
Like it was the only thing that was still making money was
Yeah.
Pantera in the metal, even.
Right. Okay.
And he started a band called Fight, and it was like Rob Halford in cut off jean shorts and no
Yeah.
shirt, but singing like badass
Yeah.
rock and roll or metal
Fuck
shit
yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah, man.
And it was really good. And again, like nobody cared that he was whatever blowing
Yeah.
the roadies or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever he did,
yeah.
because he was so good.
Yeah.
He
And
did
then-
cocaine,
never
is what he
big-
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
It was never a big deal.
No.
No, it never was to us.
was-
'cause
no, yeah.
He was a monster, man. He was so good. And then wasn't long after that, because remember they had Ripper Owens
Yeah.
came in and
Yep.
started to kick ass.
Yep.
And they started to bring back priests
Yep.
and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and then they fucking Halford rejoined, and fucking the one guitarist. I don't remember what happened to him. He was out for health reasons or something. They brought in they got that Richie Faulkner dude.
Who's
now.
killer.
So, yeah, he's been playing on it for a while now. Took over for KK Downing.
So
Is
I
that
think
what happened?
KK might be, what do you call it when you're kind of losing?
Yeah, he's got some kind of
Alzheimer's?
dementia or something like that. Yeah.
I don't think he's like he can't play. I think he's losing a little bit.
I think it's both. I think he was having some kind of crazy nerve issues and all that with his hands or something, and couldn't play those riffs anymore.
It makes sense.
Like
I mean, I think that's like a nervous system thing, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And I mean, all those dudes are 70 or something, still fucking out there.
Like
ripping
first
that
Priest
shit.
album was in the 60s.
Yeah, which blows my
It's
mind
wild,
to this
dude.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were so ahead of their time.
Are you an Iron
Yeah.
Maiden fan?
Yes is the only correct answer.
I am, but I'll say this: like I know
Yes, with
the
a
big
but.
stuff.
Yeah.
I know the big stuff. I don't know. It's one of those catalogs I haven't dove into, so I know like every hit
Yeah.
or every like big
I hear
song.
that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's kind of like people are kind of like in camps between like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden? Is there like a camp?
I don't think
thing
it's
there?
Judas Priest and Iron Maiden so much. I think it's sorry that wasn't directed at me. I totally just stole the thunder there. But
Okay. Nobody cares about
all right,
August
cool.
Burns Red. But that's
Yeah,
cool,
fuck
dude.
you, dude.
What's that?
Yeah,
t-shirts.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
one of my
Jesus.
favorite
Some
bands.
new
Yeah.
metal band.
With a like 14 syllable name.
But no, I think it's more just in general, like the Teuton Big Four, the European Big Four versus the it's European metal versus European heavy metal versus American heavy metal. Like
I view all that as like new wave of British heavy metal. Though.
yeah, right.
Like, it's all-
no, that's me too.
Yeah.
Me
Okay.
too. But I think that's where the two camps are. To answer your question, you know what I mean? I don't know, because I don't know a Maiden fan that doesn't like Priest. I don't know a Priest fan that doesn't like Maiden.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I would say it's more just like, what do you like better, like the British flavor or the American flavor?
Well, both those bands are British though.
Priest and
Yeah.
right.
Well, maybe like most of the guys now in both
Well,
in
yeah, I
those
mean,
bands are
but
probably
yeah,
Americans
originally,
now,
yeah.
Right.
But to me, that all of that stuff worked on the same level, and all those bands toured together, and all those people drank together, and
Right.
it wasn't
right.
like
right.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the camps are. You know what I mean?
it wasn't
If
like
they're-
Metallica and Motley Crue or something.
No,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Where it
right.
was like
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Square
That's what I'm wondering
peg, round
is, yeah.
hole.
Yeah. I was like Priest a little better. I've not, for some reason, Maiden's never like done it for me. Like I got DVDs. I mean, I get it. I like Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
But, like I've seen it all, but they never like. I'm like, this is cool, but it never really hits me in like this like emotional way or something where like Priest is more like I don't know.
Lyrically, emotionally speaking, like lyrically, like Maiden talks about. I mean, honestly, they talk about American issues like a lot more than you'd expect a British band would. Like,
I feel like Maiden's just, to me, it's always been a little sillier. I think that's what it is.
it's a little more gimmicky.
sillier.
Yeah, because they got Eddie, they got the the mascot.
And I don't love like abrupt tempo changes. And they're like,
You said you like Tool.
no, but they do not have abrupt tempo changes. Their stuff is this and it goes over, but it's not like where it's like jamming on a thing and then all of a sudden it just like changes on a dime like this.
Okay.
Tool's actually like not that at all. Actually, they go all over the place, but there's not like this like you're doing one thing and then it's like all of a sudden you're in a completely
It's a new
different
song, but
or something like that. Which like, and that's very much Maiden shtick. And like I don't know, for some reason that's never really like done it for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm more of Lizzie. And all of that was all that tempered
Dude,
all of that stuff.
I was gonna
right?
say earlier that your band immediately listened to it. I was like, there's a ton of fucking Thin Lizzy.
I mean, to me, all the best stuff came from Thin Lizzy. Right?
Yeah, that's so cool because I'm like, all right,
I love Thin
I'm
Lizzy
on,
as well,
I'm
but-
on point there because immediately I was like, yeah, this is definitely some fucking Thin Lizzy shit.
Imagine seeing those old like Lizzie and ZZ Top toured like for 2 years together.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine seeing those shows in '73 or whatever.
Yeah.
That was my dad's favorite band for sure. He did on my 18th birthday. My dad did fucking Jailbreak on karaoke, dude.
Hell yeah,
I'll
dude.
never forget it, dude. This
So
was
good.
at the Hookah Lounge.
Those guys were one of the biggest influences on Metallica.
Yeah.
And I talk about guitar harmonies, doing the dueling guitar harmony stuff. Like
all Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy, dude.
Yeah.
Like came with that. Like it was like a new thing, kind of in a way.
Yep, them and Skinnerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your band, there's some Skinnerd in there too, for sure. Are you a Skinnerd fan?
Yeah, I grew up with that.
Yeah.
Right, like that was...
Like the Southern Fried Rock kind of shit or whatever.
Yeah, like Skinner ain't that far off from the Allman Brothers. They were just...
No.
They were just tighter...
Yeah,
or like,
it was a
know,
little-
more
A
rock.
little less
Yeah, it was-
folksy.
It was a little,
Yeah.
folksy.
a little grungier or whatever.
Yeah,
Less
dirtier or
acoustic
something.
guitar.
Yeah.
I think
More
Lou was
Firebirds.
saying though, you
For
guys
sure.
were big Allman Brothers guys. Is that?
I love Allman
Yeah,
Brothers.
I
Same.
think that's what he was saying. He was like, "Yeah, those guys were like our thing."
I remember seeing Allman Brothers. Of course, it was a state theater back then, but the Fillmore in Detroit, right? And when I was 16, with my Metallica T-shirt,
Yeah.
going to see the Allman Brothers, and Warren Haynes was like the young kid,
Yeah, he was. Yeah, sure.
and the bongo kid, the guy playing the bongos
Yeah.
and stuff, he looked like he was 12,
yeah,
but I'm sure he wasn't. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But they were fucking awesome.
that's cool, man. That's a band I don't really like know that much about. That's something I've never really like deep dived on.
The Allman Brothers?
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, I know the stuff. I've heard it. You know what I mean?
Like,
But it's not
everything
something
makes
where
you
I've, like,
cry, but in the best
I've
way.
like sat down and like watched or
Everything-
listened
yeah.
to, or you know, like
But
Like-
they have that thing of everything. Even the new Allman Brothers, Hitting the Note would be the newest Allman Brothers album, which probably came out in the early 2000s.
yeah,
Every time they go to a change, it's like that weird dun 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 dun. That weird Allman Brothers climby
Okay.
shit.
Yeah.
Whatever that scale is.
Interesting.
It always works, and it's always
Right.
Allman Brothers,
Yeah.
and it kicks ass.
I got pretty into like Derek Trucks and his
Tedeschi Trucks Band,
Yeah,
baby?
yeah, it's great,
Fuck
man.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're- I mean,
I've seen
that's-
them a bunch of times.
Have you? That's the best.
Yeah, oh
band.
yeah, great band.
Yeah, that's
Same
cool.
idea, double drummers.
Yeah.
Susan Tedeschi
I mean,
kicks
yeah,
ass.
obviously they're
their
doing the
kids
thing,
are
yeah.
selling the T-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like their little kids.
Putting them to work. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Family business.
Yeah. Do you guys like Joe Bonamassa?
I love Joe Bonamossa,
He's-
dude.
Fuck yeah, he kicks ass.
Dude.
I love him too. He's got a new documentary or something out right now. It's the
Yeah.
Guitar Man or something like
He's
that.
one of the very few like blues guitarists that I actually enjoy like thoroughly. You know,
He's one of those
I
guys
don't
too
give
that's
tons of
like,
blues.
you know how
Yeah.
people used to hate on Rush?
Yeah, LaRush
Right.
was the nerd shit forever.
Yeah,
Now they're like the
I
most
guess,
popular
yeah.
thing ever.
So
yeah.
Joe Bonamassa, it was like cool for people to be like to blow him off and hate on him.
Yeah.
And he was so good, and all his
He's
albums
so
are great.
good, yeah.
And then it was the same thing with Rush Forever, where people would just shit on him for no
Yeah.
reason, you know. And at a certain point, it
Yeah.
was like the South Park guys that were like,
Yeah,
at a certain
yeah.
point, if you hate Rush, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
Whatever they
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Same thing with Bonamassa.
right. I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Joe Bonamassa getting a lot of hate for a while there because he's not really a purist. He definitely is.
That's
like very rock and
probably
like, just
why I
does
like him,
whatever.
to be honest with you.
You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
just whatever it is
Yeah.
sick. I mean, Rush is a little different, where it was like became the nerdiest shit ever. I mean, it kind of is the nerdiest shit ever,
Yeah.
but it was like very much like, oh, if you're not, you know, like Rush is way too nerdy and fucking Bytor the Space Dog and shit, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like.
I mean, it's far out shit.
It's far
It
out
is.
shit, dude. It's sci-fi,
It is.
it's
Yeah.
prog, it's nerdy as fuck. This guy's singing three octaves
But
above.
so
you
is
know?
Led Zeppelin, though.
True.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They
No.
were just like they were
So
just
is
like
that
harder to understand,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
you know, like higher.
They were just worshiping the devil too.
You're right,
at the
right.
Same time, you know?
Yeah. Well, Zeppelin sings about like dick and pussy all the time, so like you know they can
Squeeze my
throw that
lemon,
in there.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in the outdoor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or like Lord of
Come
the
on.
Rings.
Yeah, yeah, or yeah. There's
it's
that,
all
and then there's Lord of the
Rings,
Rings.
dude.
Like, yeah,
Like nothing but Lord of the
yeah,
Rings,
You're
dude.
singing about fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I gotta
Vikings.
say, I'm not the biggest Led Zeppelin fan in the world.
okay.
I'm really
That's
not
okay.
the biggest Zeppelin
That's
fan.
okay.
I don't hate, but like I like it's to me the like I like a lot of the hits, but like the early Zeppelin stuff, I'm like, I don't love this.
There was a bar in Muskegon. So, you know, our drummer Dane used to be in If He Dies, He Dies, or still
really?
is,
Oh,
right?
okay.
You know, like
Sure.
like we played 1,000,000 gigs, so that all that Muskegon shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And we played a gig out there. Oh my God, what the fuck was the name of that bar?
The Blue Note.
No, Cadillac something.
Oh yeah,
or-
Cadillac Jacks. Was it on the
Jeez.
beach?
I
Because that was Cadillac Jacks.
it was
on the
in
beach.
it was in a building. I couldn't tell you where it was. It was dark out.
There was power.
There was a building. Yeah, there was electricity.
Was it in like a barn? Because there was that place too that I played where it was kind of like it was like a roadhouse. Was it Pat's Roadhouse? There was that. Oh man, that was one of the
At
worst
any
gigs I
rate,
ever played.
We
Yeah.
were fucked up. And I remember we stayed somewhere with a pool and a hot tub in the room. Like it was, and
Nice.
boy, did they regret that.
You're all in it.
We were fucked up. But I remember us playing the Immigrant Song.
Yeah.
Like that was the only time I remember like Rockit King doing Zeppelin.
Yeah. You can sing that though. You got that.
It was great. Yeah, it was. Rock King's a rock and roll band. We can do that
for
shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%.
There's like you guys can cover 3 decades for sure.
Easy.
Yeah. Including the like
Those decades are the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. It's nothing but Creed, Nickelback.
How did Creed?
Temple of the Dog.
How in the hell is it that now all of a sudden Creed's cool?
They're back. Well, we were talking.
I think they're ironically cool now. To me,
that true?
He loves Creed.
I do love. Like
I'm a
I
Creed
shamelessly
hater.
love Creed. Like I'm a huge fan. I grew up on Creed. I grew up on Creed, Rush, and Zeppelin. Like that was it. And
So random.
Like, it really, like my dad was all fucking over the place, dude. He's like, I love Creed, I love Led Zeppelin, but I also like Shania Twain. Like,
Who doesn't?
yeah. But no, I think Creed now is ironically good. I think Creed has just become a meme for a lot of like people my age and younger.
It was
because
I'm just
it's
not a fan. I love Mark Tremonti.
Yeah.
He's writing a new Tremonti album now, which is my favorite thing that he does. But fucking Lou was going off though that they're going on that Creed cruise with the Verve pipe.
Get out.
Yeah, dude. It's these cruises are like super popular.
Yeah.
Now. And it's like some kind of crazy like 90s cruise, and Creed's the big headliner.
It's like Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, yes, all
Like
these
all
bands.
this
And
shit, right?
the Verve pipe is on a cruise.
Of course.
So like,
Of course, they're freshmen, right?
He was saying that they do it. It's like a festival
And
where there's
others.
like different rooms and shit. So like it's like be like stage, like different stages,
Yeah,
It's
like festival
that,
stages.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that on the cruise too.
Badass.
So they'll be like like on the whatever stage in the whatever smaller room or whatever, and then the Creed's like headlining it on the main thing.
With arms wide open
under the sunlight.
I can't do it. Never been a Creed yet.
But like I watched something on the Twitter or whatever where there was like a DJ mixing up Creed and people were getting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
just
it's
like-
good. Fuck off, Ross.
They were like the biggest. he was
Guns
talking
N'
about this
Roses
earlier.
was good. Creed was Creed.
Creed was so huge, though.
They were.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like selling records, boys.
Yeah.
Just fucking slinging records. I bought those records.
Yeah, and they weren't even like. And the thing is with them is like they were
CDs.
never like a sex icon or anything. You know what I mean? Like they
I don't
never
know,
did.
dude.
Like,
He even did that porn, dude. Like him and Kid Rock banged that chick
Wait,
on tape. or
what?
something. Yeah, dude.
Stop it right now. Are you
dude.
serious?
Beat up, pull it up. No, don't pull it up. But no, it's for real. I'm not kidding, dude.
like Scott Stapp.
Scott Stapp
And Kid Rock.
and Kid Rock double teamed some chick on
You're
camera. I'm
lying
pretty sure.
to me.
I'm not lying, bro.
He's
I'm
not.
Sorry.
I don't know
sorry.
the whole story, but he's not lying.
You were there.
I certainly wasn't there.
What?
Kid Rock's like
Soak it in a
super
little
nice
bit.
guy, by the way.
Yeah,
Bob,
yeah.
super nice dude.
What did you used to jam with him or something?
Well, I've jammed with him. I've jammed with him because I was playing with Kenny Olson, and when Kid Rock was first starting to come up, we would jam every Sunday at that Rip Music in Ann Arbor.
Oh, there was a Rit in Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
I
there
didn't
might
know
still
that.
be one. I don't know.
I'm a big Rit fan. I didn't know that was.
So
one.
Kenny and I would jam in the basement, and the bass player was this guy named Scott Llewellyn, and he had a band. Right, remember the Spin Doctors? Mm-hmm. So it was the same manager as like Pantera, Spin Doctors.
That's so.
And he had a band
That
called
is.
Lucy Brown.
Okay.
Like a porn name kind of.
Okay.
So he had not very successful,
Yeah,
but whatever. He had a publishing deal.
Yeah. Cool.
Back then when there was money.
Yeah.
And then he had enough money to like go back to school to go to U of M. So he went to, and we would jam down there. And
Interesting.
then Kenny was starting to play with Kid Rock, and it wasn't very good. It was like Kid Rock and Kenny and a drum machine.
Yeah.
And it was like marginal, right? I remember being, and he was like, "You should play. You should join this thing, Kid Rock band." And I was like, "Ah, that's bad. Not good."
Yeah.
I'm not a Kid Rock.
No.
But nice
not
guy.
anymore, especially.
He's a super nice guy, and that's
Yeah.
not necessarily my
sure,
thing
yeah.
musically, but
Yeah.
It just seems like he's kind of a dick now. He seems like he was probably a cool guy back then. I saw Kid Rock at at Warp Tour in 1998.
Kid Rock
in
played
Detroit.
Warp Tour?
Kid Rock was the shit back then, and it was. I mean, it was rap metal, dude. It was like
You are
new metal.
blowing my mind right now, Ross.
New metal
You're
time, dude.
fucking-
Well, it was like him and Limp Bizkit, right?
Yeah, and I mean, well, Limp wasn't on that particular tour, but it was that same time.
That era right there.
It was Kid Rock, Deftones, or the other headliner. It was very much, there was all these swing bands. It was the that thing. Remember when swing?
Jumpin' Jivin'.
It was fucking like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones,
Yeah.
Save Ferris, the Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Yeah.
I
all this
totally
shit.
missed that.
And,
I don't recognize any of those.
I don't think you were alive.
Yeah,
dude.
probably wasn't.
This is 1998. so
I
how
was
old are you?
4. Fuck off.
Yeah. And so Kid Rock was like brand new, so he was just doing Ball with the Ball, right? It had just broke. or whatever.
And then
And,
Cowboy came out. And Cowboy was
yes.
huge, right?
So, but like, so it was like Ball with the Ball just happened. Like it's on the radio, but like we
Spring
don't know.
Break on
We're not
MTV.
there. We don't care. We're just there to see Deftones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but like so. And these multiple stages, like I was just talking about. So we were waiting for like the band we wanted to see who was going to play that stage next. So we're at the Kid Rock thing. And like at this time, we don't care. Like it's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And he has that little person was his sidekick, if you guys remember, Joe C.
yeah.
You
Midget.
remember? Yeah. And we thought he was Kid
You
Rock.
probably can't say midget now.
I don't know what the crazy
He said it was just funny. He said that little person. You go, yeah, midget. Yeah, he just like,
Whatever the correct nomenclature is, no shade to anybody.
No, yeah.
But we were like, oh, that's Kid
excellent.
Rock, because we thought
excellent.
Kid Rock was the little dude,
kid.
you know? And we we're like, Kid Rock, man, fucking yeah.
Well, it's always funny to see like what you think as a kid, but he was an adult.
Yeah,
Like motherfuck, do the whole bit. You know what I mean? You're like, geez, that little kid's got a terrible mouth. But he's like a 50-year-old guy. You know?
And that's the show where I got the basketball, which is in the other room over there. The fucking, you know, the basketball. Yeah, that's
From
where,
the movie?
Yeah, they were past because that had just dropped, and they were blowing up like beach balls. They were beach balls, but they were basketballs, and they
Nice.
were like hundreds of them, like out into the crowd, like doing this. And I still have mine.
that's pretty
from
cool.
Warped Tour it was 97 or 98. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's in my control room over
That's
there.
pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
I remember we were playing at Rubbles in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, I know Rebels.
And I was in Monkey Chuck because I was with those dudes, and they were like trying to explain this cartoon show to me. It didn't make any sense, right?
It can't be explained.
And then before the gig, like we're sitting at the bar eating before the gig
Yeah,
that night,
yeah.
and that show's on the TV behind the
Yeah.
bar. And it was like Sparky the Gay Dog or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember being like, what the fuck
That's
is
like
this?
the first season, dude. Yeah, for
was
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, yep.
What show?
South
South
Park.
Park.
Dude.
Oh,
Don't be gay,
okay.
Sparky. Don't be gay.
Don't be gay.
And one of our best friends was Sparky. He was.
Oh, no.
and we were in drumline. We were all in drum.
shit.
And when that episode dropped, it
Everybody
was over
fell
for him.
down.
Yeah, it was over for him, dude.
that
Just,
poor
the
fucker.
rest of that year was just Sparky. Don't be gay.
They did for Sparky what fucking Key and Peele did for dudes named Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh my
Are you guys
God.
fans of Aqua Teen Hunger Force? You guys know Aqua Teen?
I was a little young to get the
you
humor.
would have been. You would have been.
Yeah, I was a little young to get the humor.
I feel like I keep bringing it up on here, and like nobody knows what the
Is
fuck
it
I'm talking
on
about.
like a Cartoon Network? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
it was,
Adult
it was like
Swim
the
for sure.
original Adult Swim
Yeah.
show that kind of
Yeah.
like blew up Adult Swim. And I've just been going back through like best of shit.
I should,
on
yeah, I
YouTube.
should definitely revisit it now. But yeah,
I can't. It's another show that just cannot be explained. It's
Yeah.
just too fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
A lot of
It's
those
one my
like
funniest
first
things.
generation cartoon,
adult cartoon,
adult
kinda
cartoon
things.
shows
Yeah.
are so far out.
they're like
Yeah.
like an acid head's fever
Yeah,
dream.
it really
is.
Yeah.
Aqua Teen's the ultimate of that, but it's
Yeah.
also like wicked smart and funny. Like when you have to watch it, and you're like, I can't believe they're just saying that shit. And there's like there's all kinds of music references. There's a bunch of Rush.
Yeah, because their neighbor is like a huge like alcoholic like music fan.
And he's like a Boston and he fucking loves
God,
it.
I love Boston.
Frank.
Dude,
yeah.
No, it's Carl.
Carl. Yeah.
And there's the Foreigner belt. I can't explain this shit. It doesn't make sense me talking about it. There's a magical belt that is all Foreigner songs. And so it's cold as ice and it does shit to you. And I can't explain it. It's not funny.
Feels like the first time.
Yeah, exactly. It's just every reference to the band Foreigner you can imagine.
That was a killer band, and that was
Foreigner rules,
Foreigner was a record company band. So they got put together like that.
Yeah,
that
that's
guy.
why they're Foreigner, because they were dudes from Europe and dudes from America.
Like they gave him an office.
Right.
In that building where everybody wrote songs, and they like all got together and wrote those songs in that office.
Killed it.
And it was killer, man.
We saw Lou Gramm at Rib Fest, Kalamazoo. Lou Gramm and a bunch of guys who were not Foreigner playing Foreigner songs at Rib Fest.
Was it killer?
No, it was terrible. It was awful. They were paying him in ribs. He's 400 pounds.
He looks like he ate Lou Gramm.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw him. I was like, who's that guy that ate Lou Gramm?
We're just dying because he's just out there just fucking bombing.
Doing the Vince Neil thing.
Kalamazoo Rib Fest. You understand what I'm saying? It's a bunch of food trucks selling ribs.
Yeah.
And you got the guy from Foreigner trying to sing Foreigner songs while eating atomic ribs.
With fucking
just
rib
covered
sauce.
with rib sauce, just fucking this barbecue sauce on the mic.
That poor guy.
Oh, it was just
That's
awful.
incredible.
And then we thought the next year we saw Blue Oyster Cult at Rib Fest, and it's the same thing.
Was that bad?
No, they kind of killed, but again, it was kind of like the two dudes who were kind of the main dudes, then a bunch of 20-year-olds they hired or whatever. But they threw down some Godzilla.
I just went down that Blue Oyster Cult highway again, and they are a lot crazier than I remember.
It's all over. They're Prague, man.
They're Prague, but specifically Godzilla. I went to learn. I went to learn that song because I was like, oh, it's Godzilla. How hard could it be? It's probably like Smoke on the Water. And no, dude, that fucking I don't remember his name, but that guitarist is all over the place on that track specifically and others, man.
Dude.
That was a cool era. When Frank Zappa was happening, that era, people felt like, well, Frank's over here. We can be here and be in the middle.
We're normal. Yeah.
There was a speaking of bad shows, we opened for Dokken.
Nice.
At the intersection. We used to open for everybody. David Lee Roth, everybody.
Hell
right?
yeah.
And it was Dokken. And they did all, breaking the chains around you, all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was the guy, who's the guy that turned into a girl that used to play guitar for Kiss? Vinnie Vincent?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Vinnie Vincent was playing guitar with him. It was a whole thing, right? Jeff Pilson's playing bass.
Okay.
And so they're playing, and me and Chris Cootier are walking from the backstage to side stage, and Don Dokken's sitting on the steps to the stage like this. With his wig on, just the saddest picture you've ever seen. And we got beers, and we walk up to him, and I'm all Jimmy Crack Corn, and I'm like, "Hey, Don Dokken, why the long face?" He's like,
"Well, I am Don Dokken."
And he looks up, and he's like, "Well, the monitor guy." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Fuck, man, we're here, we're playing rock and roll."
You're Don fucking Dokken, man. Come on,
wake up,
at, dude.
right?
100%.
I probably said stop being a pussy, but I remember him being so
slap
sad.
Don Dokken in the face. Pull yourself together, Don
Jesus
Dokken.
Christ, Don Dokken.
What is wrong with you, Don Dokken? You're Don Dokken. Don't you forget it.
Oh,
Dokken rules.
Together.
When Robin Williams was like, I did so much coke that it fucked up my brain. Don Dokken probably did so much gerbils in the asshole or something. He's never gonna be able to be happy again.
Same, man. That's too much gerbil.
I was in LA for 2 years too long, kid. You don't understand.
Times got tough.
My serotonin receptors are fried.
I'm fucked. I can never be happy again.
One of the craziest shows I ever saw was fucking Jackyl played the Blue Note in Muskegon, and my brother's band opened for him as while I was there. And Jackyl, I'm sure did the whole fucking thing.
played
with the
many
chainsaw.
gigs with him,
I'm
yeah.
sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jackyl fucking rules, and fucking. He fucking took the chainsaw to like the drop ceiling at the Blue Note, and it was just like cutting tiles.
Oh no! Holy shit!
It's like, oh my god!
Oh, it was a real chainsaw.
No, yeah,
Yeah, 'cause he
Jackyl
always
played
cuts
the
up a bar
chainsaw,
stool.
dude.
Oh, okay.
That's the shtick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was hilarious, and I'm sure they were not thrilled. I heard.
No.
I heard after they were.
I'm sure there was a hefty bill.
Yeah, which
sure.
Jackyl did not pay.
Oh yeah.
We played an outdoor gig once where it was Jackyl, then us. So
Yeah.
Jackyl first, then us, then Bad Company.
Nice,
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fuck
it was
yeah,
fucking.
dude.
It was one of those Sandy Corley gigs.
Yeah,
it was badass.
Memorial Run or whatever, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
I crashed a motorcycle. I was digging.
At the Sandy Corley
Oh,
Memorial
fucking
Run.
hard, too. I hit a split rail
That's
fence.
a bad look.
Damn.
The guy
Well, it was a campground at
died
night.
out of. Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah,
like
so-
I ran over a campfire and hit a fence.
I mean, that's the thing, right? He died on a motorcycle.
Yeah, 'cause
or
motorcycles
something,
don't have
right?
headlights.
Yeah.
They did. but-
yeah, I know.
Was that would have been up north somewhere or something? Is that where they do that shit?
Yeah, it
Hesperia
seems
or
like
some
they
shit?
moved it a few times,
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
yeah.
yeah. I think that spot's like in like Hesperia or something. I don't know.
The Jackyl was cool. They were good dudes, and of course they only played first because they had a fly gig. They were flying to
Yeah,
another
we got a
gig.
gig that pays later on.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta get
Yeah.
out of here.
It
Yeah.
was country fair bullshit. Yeah.
That was like Live Nation. That was real shit.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
real
sure.
check.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
That's a weird. Everybody shits on Live Nation, but they never try to steal $35 from me.
Right.
If we play at 20 Monroe, like
Yeah.
one time we played there, I think we played with like fake Van Halen or something, and the opening band didn't make it, and so the gal running the venue, Live Nation gal, said, "Hey, the opening, you guys just want to play longer?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Can we have both checks? She's like, "Yep."
Can we play
Nice.
Van Halen songs? Yeah.
Nice.
So she gave us both checks. Like that wasn't like they're trying to peel money out of you like the old days.
Right. Well, yeah, I think they're mostly, and well, that was too. They're a lot bigger now. It's a lot like a conglomerate. Things have been happening since then with Live Nation.
It's
They've
a real
got-
deal,
like,
yeah.
Took over the whole ticket market and all this or whatever, the
Yep.
show market or whatever.
Our buddy Ron, so Ron Claus used to run the Orbit Room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Ron and Ted and Julie, that was like
Ted's
the
the
team.
guy I knew. Yeah,
So,
I worked with Ted.
And
over
Ted's
there, yeah.
still around. Ted's still
Yeah.
working. So Ron works for Live Nation, runs like closes
Nice.
all the
Yeah.
Midwest shows.
Yeah.
Great dude. And then Ted
Yeah.
closes all the Van Andel shows.
I didn't know that. I'm good. I'm glad he's still because I knew him from the Orbit Room and we connected on fucking James Bond. His whole office was covered in James Bond shit. if
That's
you
awesome.
remember. And he also paid us, and I mean we weren't shit, but I would be like, "Hey man, you got to pay us." And he
He's
would.
total pro. He's a
Yeah.
total pro.
Yeah,
Ted's
he was.
great.
Yeah, Ted's,
and so is
Ted
Ron.
is a solid dude for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
And he owns the Tip Top.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So when you see all those bands, and that's one thing about Grand Rapids that maybe we forget to talk about, but Grand Rapids has more music, like original live music coming through at any night than Detroit does in a month.
I'd probably say you're right.
It's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's due to people like Ted
yeah.
and like Jeff and Tammy that own Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Yeah.
Scott Hammondtree that runs Intersection. Like
Yeah.
those three groups of people
Yeah.
bring in so much fucking great music into this
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like we should probably once in a while say thanks to that, like
Yeah, for
to
sure.
those kind of
Yeah.
I don't know, audiophiles that keep this
Yeah.
town in live music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Ted was always fucking super cool about putting us. I mean, it was whatever. It was pay to play or whatever. You had to sell tickets or whatever, which you should do as a band. But,
Yeah.
it was that thing. The band weren't selling the bands that were coming through, so they would get us on as an opener and we
Try to bring some people in, yeah.
Bring some people in and sell tickets and whatever. But he was always like, I'd email them and be like, dude, can we get on this show? And a lot of the time it was yes. There was a lot of shows that were like, sorry, man, the tickets are through the roof. There's already 10 openers. We don't need another opener. Like I tried to get on like a Porcupine Tree show and I'm like, hey, don't hate a guy for asking. You know? And he's like, no, it's all good or whatever. But that's how we got to play with a bunch of those fucking killer bands. And I miss the Orbit Room. That was my favorite stage.
That was
the Orbit Room.
Same.
Dude.
Badass.
It always sounded better than everywhere else. And like, dude, your fucking shoes stuck to the floor, and it just fucking
Don
rocked.
Dorsheimer, God rest his soul.
And water bottles were $6.
Yeah. And I mean, it got bad toward the end. I mean, the ventilation was non-existent in that fucking place. And like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that. I mean, it was 20 Monroe put them out of business. That's what happened. You know,
I'm sure.
Well, Don died. I got nothing bad to say about any of them. We did that.
You've played 20 Monroe?
A bunch of times. Yeah, great
nice.
people.
Man, I wish I could play that stage.
You know, since COVID, it's been hit or miss with if there's opening spots or not. It's just weirder.
Yeah.
That's
right?
interesting.
Yeah, it used to be like they'd call them. I'd call the guys and be like, "Can you make this show?" No, I got a wedding or whatever, right? And then you can't. But now it's a little more fewer and far between.
Right. Yeah. Verve Pipe just played there last week or whatever. I was gonna go, and it's sort of a long story. We had an estate sale, and I was just too fucking tired to go, but I would have liked to have gone, seen that.
I've seen Candlebox at 20 Monroe twice.
Candlebox was the second concert I ever went to.
And Elsie Walker? I was there.
Yeah.
And Flaming Lips opened up.
Sounds about right. Yeah. I couldn't tell you. But
that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
That was kind of right after. It was only like 2 months or something after the White Zombie thing. So now I like had permission. Like it was like I was in. So my brother could take me to these shows.
Hell yes.
You know, so like, we got to see Candlebox. It was like a big deal.
Dude, Candlebox rips.
They
I remember,
rip. They're back doing it.
Walking away from that show with my buddy. And like we were just kind of quiet. Like, and like he's my best friend of like 15 years. And like we were just quiet. And like I look at him like halfway back to the car and I'm like, was that fucking awesome? And he's like, dude, that was awesome.
Candlebox,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I only saw him at one time, but I remember
too.
being like, what the fuck?
That was it. Dude. Like,
they had those like 2 records, like their first and second records. That were like fucking.
I don't even know
really
if they had a third record.
I don't know either. I kind of don't think so.
They played up until like almost the 2010s.
I think they're back now
released,
too. They're still out there doing some shit. So we'll have to look up some Candlebox, see what the fuck those fucking idiots are up to. So.
I don't know. Where'd he go, dude?
Well, Jesse's dead.
Yeah.
He left the show.
The tragic passing of Jessie from Rockit King.
What's going on over there with you, Schwab? You're getting a little quiet
Yeah,
tonight,
you need to
buddy.
really
You
shut the
all
fuck
right
up, dude. You've really been monopolizing this conversation.
Yeah, you guys do your thing.
Yeah.
The magic happen here, just sitting back, soaking it all in.
You got the cat over here.
Yeah. This cat's been digging me, dude.
Yeah.
Probably knows I took an allergy pill.
Yeah, she's a little shit. She
like
loves
her.
the
I like her.
podcast.
Look at her, dude. Fucking going nuts over here. Oh, dude. We can hear him peeing.
There's a beat up set up a camera actually in the there's one in the toilet.
Oh, really?
He's very good.
Wow,
he's very good.
We gotta sell that.
There's
dude.
a GoPro in there.
Yeah. It's in the waterproof case and everything.
Yeah, it's nice. So we're gonna have a lot more ladies on the show from now on.
Yes, yeah.
I'm cutting all of this out.
Yeah.
Fucking Pro Tools shit out on me again there.
I was wondering about that.
This is the last show with this computer. This is it.
Really?
It's done.
Is that thing breaking up on you then, or?
This thing's so old, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Pro Tools or if it's a computer issue or if it's a Pro Tools issue. But that's it. I got a new. We didn't have it running by tonight, but I got a new Mac Mini, and I'm going to run. I'm actually literally thinking about using GarageBand. To do the podcast because it's like I don't know,
or Audacity or something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's fucking free.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude, that almost blew a gasket.
You're
That's
back,
okay,
dude.
man. You just
we thought you died.
Let us know. Yeah, let us know if you need to stop.
Oh my God, I gotta piss.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So fucking we could probably get to kind of getting on to wrapping this up here a little bit. So what's the fuck's going on with Rockit King? You guys, you've put out a couple singles.
We have put out a couple
This
singles. We're going
last
back in
year.
the studio, 2023.
Yeah.
My goal now is to kind of maybe do 3 singles a year.
Nice.
no one buys albums.
No, that's the platform
That's kind
now.
of what
Yeah,
we're doing now. Yeah.
So we'll just
Same.
do like we're getting a few songs together right now to go
Nice.
back in the studio.
Yeah.
So probably have 3 come out this year and just keep that kind of cycle rolling.
Cool. Yeah. Are you
and
guys
then-
tracking at River City mostly, or
We've done quite a bit at River City. I think this next group of songs is at Joel Ferguson's Planet Sunday.
sick. Sure. Yeah, we know Joel's been on the pod. I'm a big fan of Joel.
Yeah, Joel's great.
yeah.
So he's doing the next batch, and I assume once winter's over, once springtime hits, we'll just start tearing it up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
You have anything booked?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
Right.
We were talking about maybe doing like a headline show at Pyramid Scheme, but we haven't booked it.
Right.
And then
That's one of
we
the
have a
other
few
stages
bands.
I never got to play because my band kind of called it right around when they opened. So it was 15 years ago now or whatever. But it's like, oh man, I wish that place was there when I was doing shit. Cause
It's
like,
a great.
It is a
little
great
venue.
venue.
so good.
Yeah.
And now Elevation below the intersection.
That's cool,
is a
too.
Sick room. I
That is
love
dope.
that room.
I played
Yep.
that one a couple times.
Yeah, that's
It's fucking
awesome.
sweet.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense when on paper, but when you fill it full of people, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Just
it's
a quick,
awesome. I
quick
love
little,
it.
quick little anecdote about Elevation. So, like, before I knew about it, like I had tickets to go see All That Remains, which is like one of my the reason I play guitar, and it was at Elevation, and I noticed on the ticket that Elevation had the same address as the intersection. And I was like,
confusing.
okay, whatever. Well, I guess we'll go to the I guess it's at the. I don't know why. Whatever. So we go to the intersection, and like we get there, and the line is 3 blocks long.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, a lot of people are here to see All That Remains. Cool, sweet. So we get in, or no, this was after the burial. Either way. We
Some hippie ass man.
right.
So confusing for an old guy like me. It's
right,
so
yeah.
It's definitely
confusing.
August Burns Red.
Right. That was it, dude. But no, so we get in line, and I got my fucking After the Burial shirt on, and Albert Jordan's got his After the Burial shirt on, and like the guy in front of us has got a Blue October shirt on. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude, cool, Blue October. And then we're like in line. Another 20 minutes goes by. We get 50 feet forward, and
You go to the wrong.
Yeah,
another fucking person walks
You're
by
going
with
to
a
the
Blue
main
October
door.
shirt, and I'm like, okay. And we're looking around like, well, a lot of these guys have Blue October shirts on. Like, hey man, who's playing tonight? He's like, oh, Blue October. I'm like, huh? And he's like, oh yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Wrong
There's some
door,
kind of
brother.
like new metal.
No,
kind
Blue
of thing
October's
somewhere.
the fucking. They had the early 2000s hit.
Oh,
Fucking.
does it feel?
Swim away, but don't know how.
No, you're thinking that was Orgy that did that.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Then I don't know who Blue October is.
Me either. Yeah. I know.
In motion, yeah.
Nope.
No, really? Okay. All right.
We'll look that one up. We'll
Yeah.
look that one up later.
Real weird stuff.
Probably good.
It's okay.
It's probably far better than whatever bullshit ass fucking.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Fuck you and your Mars Volta, dog.
My kid likes Beartooth.
Ooh, Beartooth. I feel like
Yeah,
I've heard
I-
Beartooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
I fucks with some Beartooth.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
fucking.
solid.
I'm dick riding on the fucking. Jesus Christ. The
Superstar.
the band with the masks. That's all the rage right now.
Slipknot.
Don't tell me Sleep Token.
Sleep Token. Oh, dude,
You're
I'm
on the
all
Sleep Token bandwagon,
all
dude.
in. Give it to me. Give me all of it.
I've never
Give me
even heard of
all
that.
it.
What is that?
They're okay.
It's like a metal pop mix thing, but they also do the whole like masked out.
They
It
have
was like a new
lore.
Ghost thing or something.
Kinda,
It's very
yeah, they have
good.
lore.
And it's so funny because
you know.
people will be like, they're not like Ghost at all, and I'm like, they're 100%
They're 100%
like Ghost.
Ghost,
Dude.
yeah.
And like,
Like I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's like Masked Marauders,
Yep.
but playing
Yep.
guitar.
shout out to the fucking the Metal Maniacs, our buddy fucking Jason and
man.
Mod. We argue a little bit with them about Ghost and shit because it's just hilarious.
No,
dude.
to
like
anybody listening, I'm not
Yeah.
shitting on any of that. It's
No,
not
no,
my
no,
forte.
yeah.
But
I love Ghost.
I like Ghost too. Yeah.
I've seen Ghost a
I
bunch
fucks
of
with
times.
some
so-
Ghost. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm definitely dick riding on Sleep Token for
Yeah,
sure. I'm a
that's
big
fine.
fan.
That's fine.
do they? But they literally wear like
Oh, yeah.
big mouse mask or something.
They got the whole. It's a whole thing, dude. But it's very like it's like they're British. It's this combination of pop. It's like more pop than metal, but there's a little bit of metal in it. So like I make this old joke about how they're like they bring all these metal guys to their show so they can steal their girlfriends. That's what they're doing.
What was the there was like little Japanese girls that played metal.
Baby metal.
Baby metal. Yeah, like that.
I couldn't get behind that. I liked the riffage and stuff, but I couldn't get behind the fucking.
No, that wasn't my thing either.
Far out
it's weird.
shit, man.
It's weird.
It wasn't
But
my
the
thing.
Japanese shit's always far out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Japan.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ex-Japan and all that shit.
You got to give it to them.
Yeah, man. So fucking, I guess we'll kind of fucking wrap it up, dude. It was so super fun.
Thanks for having me.
Hanging out
You know,
with you,
and
talking to you.
put the links in the show notes or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's absolutely.
Yeah.
Rockit King spelled not like rocket.
Yep. Rockit.
Yeah, Rockit
Yeah.
King.
Rockit.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that mistake right at first. Like, why the fuck can I not find these guys? Yeah.
It is not the Rockit King. It is the
Yeah.
Rockit King.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I didn't name the band. I don't even. I wasn't
Oh,
even.
I thought that was probably all you.
I was
Yeah.
drunk. I don't even remember that happening. Like we're playing at a
I guess
gig.
that's
It's like,
what we're called
who's
now.
Rockit King? That's us. Oh, cool.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Sweet.
I guess so.
No, but it is great shit. I'm actually
Yeah, man.
gonna right now. I'm not gonna do it on the pod, but I'm gonna edit in. We were gonna play your new single. I'm gonna play it right
Oh, thanks.
now on the pod, so it'll be here. But I'm not gonna play it live in the studio. But
Yeah.
we're gonna play it now, so it'll be our kind of outro music here. I think
Love
that'd
it.
be the way
Solid.
to do it. So, Jesse, thank you, bro. Thanks
Yeah.
for the beers. Thanks
Muchas
for coming.
gracias.
Yeah,
man.
thanks for
De
coming
nada.
in. You're a fucking solid dude. Thanks
Yeah.
to Lou for hooking it up.
Yep.
And
Luigi.
yeah. Stay in touch, brother.
Rock and roll.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Peace.